Well, they're
now
out to
we
kill
are, I
you as
think.
well.
Finally.
Hey, we went live. Finally.
There we go.
We did,
But-
because it got stuck on my end because this computer's still being a...
Anyway,
Yeah,
every animal's out there trying to kill you. And so camels live out there, and so now they have you out there as well, so camels have to deal with you as well.
Yeah, well, we also have trees that can kill you.
What?
So
That's
yeah.
true.
Like, I want to come to Australia. It seems like such a beautiful country, but
You're going to die.
yeah. Yeah, I'll probably die.
I mean,
Literally,
not that bad.
let's
You know,
talk
it's-
about the downsides of you visiting Australia.
Do you see what I have to put up with it? Do you see this
I've got
abuse?
You see what he brings upon himself.
To be fair, if
be
you
fair.
sharpen any tree, it can kill you.
One of
Vince
the
has a
original
point,
weapons.
and if it's
There we
heavy
go.
enough,
Oh, I thought if they just fell over on you.
If you're going to be philosophical about it, Vince, then
If a tree
Fair.
falls in the forest and it falls on Mike,
And there's nobody around to hear him scream. Did it really fall
Continue.
over on him?
are you kidding me? Scott fell over last week. He hasn't shut up about it since. Someone help me!
Well, I made a camel trip over the other day.
Really?
There's one of them is running along, so I shot him. Then his legs went in the air, and the second one just tumbled over. So I just let him have his moment, shot his friend, and then I got back to him.
Nice.
Okay, hang on. I
wait,
feel like this first deserves some context. So
Yeah, we have introduced absolutely
God.
zero context so far.
stop yelling, Mike. Good grief. So what I was
so
gonna
we
say-
were at the zoo, and
So, yeah, which metropolitan
damnedest
zoo was
thing.
this?
As we're walking through the rare and endangered species, yeah, I saw a camel, and I just couldn't help myself. Just,
I must shoot it in the neck.
So,
it's like taking the kids to the zoo, and there's a wild dog or a dingo in the exhibit, and the girl's first reaction is, "Dad, there's a dog, shoot it."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And how old is your daughter?
The oldest is, so the one who's featured the most, she is 6 years old.
Okay.
hang on.
Same age as mine.
Wait, we still didn't put any context in.
No,
so,
we haven't, Mike.
We're not going to
stepping
do the
back-
context
not-
till like
Hey, you shut up. Stepping back, Jack, tell us who you are. Tell us what you do. Tell us briefly why you do it. And then what's your favorite color?
Look, favorite color is really difficult.
that
Clear.
one usually hangs people up.
It does, it would.
my favorite
so-
color is clear.
Well, he likes his grain spirits, does he? I'm Jack. I'm Jack Out the Back on YouTube, and I manage a cattle station here in Australia, what people would call a cattle ranch, and it's a family-owned business. And it's roughly 1 million acres. In hectares, that's around 407,000 hectares. So it's a bit bigger than a small European nation. And yeah, here in Australia, we've got a bit of a problem. We've got feral camels. So camels are not native to Australia, and they thrive amazingly well in our environment. And I'm out on the edge of the desert. So the camels just live and enjoy, breed, etc. out there in the desert area, completely unmanaged, untouched by humans. And when they meet myself or my team, it's usually the first time they've seen a human, and generally the last time. So we are legally obliged to kill and manage every declared pest that there is on our property. So
Okay.
we have to, by law, kill camels, horses, donkeys, cats, foxes. If there are mice, the mice.
So basically anything that's not like native to the area gets it.
Yeah.
I realize this question may be well ahead of where we're going with this, but your government mandates that you manage pest species. Is this as a citizen of Australia, or is this as a ranch manager?
Yeah, so that's as part of the conditions of the lease. So we lease Crown land. This is not freehold, so we don't own it. So it's like if you're leasing a block, like a farm from someone nearby, and they say, hey, look, you've got to spend X amount on fencing, or you've got to apply lime or gypsum at this rate each year as part of your lease agreement. That's us with feral animals.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So I'm looking at a map of Australia. I know roughly where because I know you're somewhere over on the western half. So whereabouts are
Printy
you?
Downs,
located?
right?
Yeah, you could do that. Or you see the big lake in the middle of Western Australia. Or if you go to the LIA in Western Australia. Generally, that's a good spot to work from.
To put it in perspective for some people who might not quite get it, the U.S. state of Rhode Island is about 770,000 acres.
Mm-hmm.
So a 1 million acre cattle ranch is fairly large.
It's time and a half of Rhode Island.
So you
Yes.
manage a ranch bigger than one of our states, probably our
Yeah.
smallest state.
Oh, easy.
Probably several. Connecticut's pretty dinky too.
I
So
think
New Hampshire.
Rhode Island is much smaller than Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Connecticut,
Yeah,
because that's how you spell it. It's Connecticut.
Yeah, that's the new toy from Hasbro.
New from Hasbro, the Connecticut.
Oh boy.
I've got nothing else. Moving on.
Thank God.
Just
Shut up, Dave.
spelling with Mike. How do you spell Mike?
MIC.
MICKEY. That's
shut
not
up.
how you spell.
MLUSE. I don't tell you what, there are way too many quotes from Good Morning Vietnam and from Full Metal Jacket that get broken out here.
That's not so good. Like, there's no such thing as too many. So
I was literally just talking about Full Metal Jacket at work and how I don't like that movie. And the only reason I don't like it is because the second half of it exists. The first half is awesome.
yeah,
The first half is a fantastic representation of what basic training was probably like in the 70s and 60s for Marines. I don't know what it's like for them now, but it was ideal because Arlie Ermy was he was an actual Marine. And then the second half, I get the second half, but yeah, it was just boring. I don't know.
Well, it's all about the duplicity of war. Yeah.
That's
If you think about it,
yeah,
all
you're
of the
right.
excitement, the gung ho, like this is going to be fucking awesome. Let's get into it. And then when you get there and you start to realize the reality and the level of like how much you mature, going from 18 to 21-year-old, and then you're seeing people your age dying and getting killed and children, which brings it back to you. So great. I think it's a great movie for reminding people of that.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Thinking specifically of the scene with the sniper, and it turns out to be the 18-year-old girl with an AK.
well, it's
that-
not just the 18-year-old.
that makes a lot of sense.
It's also the isn't she the same girl that tries to solicit him earlier in the movie?
Actually,
Oh,
I
I think it's
never
the
put
same
that
one.
together. Could be.
Oh
That's
boy.
not. Yeah.
Oh,
Mike's
boy.
over here I like the first half of Titanic. I didn't like having to put the second VHS tape in.
No, he preferred, if I remember correctly, he preferred right around the split of the VHS tape. And then everything after that, the one scene everybody knows about, Mike was done. He's like, all right.
Did you know that I was about a month ago years old when I found out that the guy who played the captain in Titanic was also the guy who played the King of Rohan?
Well,
What?
I mean, some of us knew that a while ago.
Yeah,
Same
a
actor,
month ago
yeah.
years old.
My God.
Some of us can see.
Yeah, I have
you,
to admit,
Vince.
I haven't watched Titanic. I just am morally against it. But Lord of the Rings, man, no, I love that.
You learned everything you needed to know about it from the memes.
True. Also, newsflash: the ship sinks.
Oh, right.
And a bunch of
You
people
just
die.
spoiled the
Yeah.
entire movie.
I know. I just never thought that. Yeah, I just.
I'll
thought it
never
was
let
all
go,
about
Jack.
a submarine that went down with really rich people.
Actually, they did that. It was Raise the Titanic, and a submarine killed a bunch of people in Raise the Titanic. It was cool.
No, that was Hunt for Red October.
Oh, that too. Turns out submarines kill lots of people.
I thought it was just Ocean Gate.
You know who kills lots of camels? Jack.
Good job, Dave. I was about to
Hey,
ask
look,
you.
if we were going to be on topic, it wouldn't be as much fun.
We don't have a
Correct.
We don't have a topic.
On-topic podcasts are nonsense. Change my
That's why you
mind.
listen to them, because it is nonsense.
Basically, I can't listen to a podcast where someone's just droning on about
True.
this. Yeah, it's terrible.
I think the
Anyway,
best podcast I've listened to, it's about like 45 minutes of people just giving each other a bit of shit,
Yeah.
and then suddenly they get on topic for 10 minutes.
that sounds about right.
Yeah,
But
that's
so
yeah.
far,
yeah.
we
The best
haven't.
podcasts I listen to,
Great
they're
format.
exactly the same.
Only
Just
we
a bunch
give,
of dudes making fun of each other.
we give Mike
Looking-
shit for 45 minutes, and then we get on topic.
True. They
And that's
hate
why
me.
you need him in the team. He's part of the dynamic. But look, you've got nine people watching the show now live, which is pretty wicked.
What?
Yeah,
And so we haven't really addressed, the flag.
Camel. Oh.
The camel and everything. There's no camel.
They finally caught up with me.
That's where I should just pull a gun off the desk and just
but
start.
you are legally required to take care of that right now.
No.
Yeah.
We just hear a crash, and guess what day it is? Guess
So
what day?
Hey, Mike, guess what? Guess what day it is? Dude, I want to hunt camels in Australia on Wednesday because I'm a Mike and they're camels and it's Wednesday. These three
Also, because
things
then
add up.
it'd just be like Mike hunts
Yeah.
camel toes.
Never heard that joke before.
I've never put those two together before.
I just heard the words Mike hunts camel toes, and that sounds Your title. Mike hunts camel toes. I'm not sure we can actually use that, but I'm writing it down.
No, Mike hunts camel toes. It works
Yeah.
great.
All right,
Honestly, YouTube's too dumb for that.
moving on.
Or not YouTube,
Oh,
the
boy.
algorithm. So, Jack, the number of camels that we've seen you kill on YouTube is just astronomical. Do you keep track? Do you have an actual tally mark, or do you just go out and, fuck these things, bang, 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 make them dead?
No, we're also legally obliged to keep a record.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Is that part
so-
of why you do filming?
Yeah, so the filming actually started back in 2019. Actually, I've got footage back to 2012. But
Wow.
we're actually talking about releasing some of our archive stuff. So our 2019 stuff, which really highlights how bad it can get. And we really started filming that because we went to a government department for assistance and said, this is the problem. And they said, oh, we don't believe that you've got the numbers that you're getting. And I said, well, here's the footage. And then they said, please don't show that to us again.
That sounds all right.
As it turns out, facts hurt.
Yeah. And the biggest thing was we can't accept that because we'd have to acknowledge the scale of the problem and then we'd have to do something about it. And that'll cost money that we just don't want to spend.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, we film and, yeah, you've seen a fraction of what we kill. But we document, like I'm looking at the Excel spreadsheet now, it's only up to the 25th of Feb. So I've got another 150 odd to add to that, which would mean that January we did 422, and the year to date is quickly, what's that, 310 for Feb? So just as a ballpark, 732 for the year.
Jesus.
Lord.
Yeah, so no, we've popped a few.
Just a couple.
and-
2 or 3.
Yeah.
Not much.
I was trying to think of something that was in America that you could shoot like that, and the only things I can think of are snow geese and prairie dogs.
That's about it,
yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Just the numbers, no limit. You can shoot however many, whatever. But
What about
Well-
rabbits?
And I can't even find snow geese to shoot that many.
In most places, rabbits are considered a small game species, and there's seasons on them and legal means of take. Another thing that comes to mind is, of course, hog hunting, which
Yeah.
hogs are an invasive species here in the United States. But anymore, I mean, it's not that easy to go after them yourself unless you have
destination
land where they
animal
are.
anymore.
Yeah, even around here, people pay hundreds of dollars to come up here and thermal hunt at night for big old piggies. When you have some people complain about how much damage they do, but then it's a business for others.
Well, that's actually one of the objections here against paid hunting is because then you go, hang on a second, I can make money off them, I won't shoot them.
Yeah. That's definitely become an issue with the feral hog situation in like the southern states. Is you hear people complain, oh, they're tearing up everything, but if you want to hunt them, that's like going to be $350 or more.
Like, why not just
Or
say,
one.
hey, if you have a rifle, come out and help us murder these things?
Yeah, so that's one of the ones just in preparation for this, putting the posts up, saying to people, would you pay to come shoot camels? And just looking at the reaction to it.
I would pay for the flight to come out there.
Yeah, and
I don't know that I would, knowing that they're the issue that they are, I don't know that I would actually pay $500 per camel to shoot one. I'd gladly come out and shoot as many as I possibly could.
You'd buy the ammo.
Oh, yeah, I would, absolutely. And that's the hard part, I would suspect.
Well, the
Speaking
part
of which,
actually for us would be the time. So we can't just get you and just go, hey, off you go hell for leather. It's all about briefing and training you up,
right,
and
Don't
guiding you.
shoot the cows.
yeah.
This is what
That
a
one you
camel
think
looks
is
like.
obvious.
This is what you'd think so, but no.
Yeah, no, I've done it before with some guys, and we went out and we got to the first camel, and this is like just mates, all really good target shooters, great on the range, great competition shooters, and we get to this first camel, and I'm like, all right, guys, go for it, just let into it. I've never seen so much lead go into a camel without it going down.
Really?
And
I see fur.
Well, if you want to see more lead, have Mike out.
Listen
And,
here.
But
No,
unscathed camel.
Listen here, motherfucker.
Unscathed camel is going in the show title.
No, that is not a great show title. That is highly insulting, and I find it also humorous, unfortunately.
So anyway, we brought this up before the show a little bit, and since I just mentioned ammo, how much does a box of 308? Well, first of all, what round are you spitting out there? And second of
that
all,
was
what's
my
your
main
dollar
question.
what's your conversion rate on dollar per round?
Right. So what I'm currently using out of the wedge tail, which is the pump action rifle that I've got, is
I want
using
one.
the PMC bronze.
Okay.
And now we don't pay this price.
Right.
But here in Australia, and I'm going to bring up the USD to AUD or AUD.
now the PMC bronze, is that just an FMJ, or are you using expanding ammunition?
No, soft point.
Soft point. Okay.
Point in soft point. So here, if you're not me, you're paying for a box of 20. Drum roll, please. Come on, sound bar. Do it, Sam. You got sound bar. Press the buttons.
Oh. Hang on, wait a minute. One of them was drum roll. Nope.
Is this working?
We have a
Yep, Mike's got it. He's got it under control.
Boom.
Yeah, they do.
All right. I'd like you to have a mouthful of beer right now.
Done.
I can't. I don't own this stuff.
$32.
Well, considering it's $20.50 for us right now for that same round, that's not as bad as I expected, to be honest.
No.
With you.
That was 308.
Yeah, that's 308.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
So what I'm punching it out for is, so that's a box of 20. 50. So it's $2.50 a shot. That's mad.
That is actually not that great.
No, it's
Especially
not.
when we have watched your videos and watched you just dump ammo in your cargo pockets. Literally dumping hundreds of dollars of ammo in your cargo pockets and then dumping hundreds of dollars of ammo into camels.
So I'm paying around $17 US for a box of 20.
Do you get subsidies because of it? Because of
No.
the camels?
No, we just buy it in bulk.
In massive bulk.
You have to buy that.
yeah,
Okay.
Straight from
That was
the
my question.
distributors.
Pallets.
Yeah.
Because you need that much of it.
Yeah, and also just the efficiency of scale. Like, we're used to buying tons of fertilizer, tons of, chemical. And so you just go, well, really, it's not actually that expensive compared to some of our pesticides. And that's what it is.
Is that part of the mentality that you live how far from civilization? I don't know if we talked about it on air or off air.
Yeah, so the nearest gun store is 780 kilometers. So
That's a shot.
400 some odd.
400 something miles. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Let's go 634, depending where you go. Yeah, about 400 mile. Yeah, right.
Jesus. Good Lord. Yeah, so when you live that far from actual civilization, I suppose you would be very, very used to buying things in actual bulk, not American, I bought it at Costco bulk, but literal
But Costco's
bulk.
pretty awesome.
Costco's great.
Yeah.
The pizza's pretty good.
I thought I lived in BFE.
Yeah.
I do not.
Right. It takes me 2.5 hours or 3.5 hours to drive to Dave. It takes you 3.5 days to drive to civilization.
Holy shit! Will paid $48 for a box of 9mm. I'm guessing that was a 25 round box.
Good Lord, dude!
I'm hoping it was a box of 50.
Nah. So tell us, Will, because if I'm getting FMJ for my club use, we're like 30 cents a shot for our 9mm.
That's not terrible.
Here's my burning question. Your government, you lease the land from the crown, and we're literally not being facetious when we say it, if it pleases the crown in this case.
Around here, we make jokes about asking the government for permission is asking the crown for permission.
If it please the crown, may I please carry my gun for self-defense? If it please the crown, may I please not pay $9 for gasoline? If it please the crown, may I please not have my... I could go on. I'm not...
Do we get it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
In any case, you lease the land from the crown because I'm assuming in your case, the crown basically just owns all of Australia and, for lack of a better word, allows you to live on it?
No, we've got freehold land, and freehold is you own it. Like, that's yours. That's not anyone else's. That's your land. Still, you pay your rates, etc., for services. But when you get out into the pastoral zone, that's the leases. So, like the crown leases, which comes into a different thing. And I did a video right back in early days of the YouTube channel, where I actually explained the different types of leases. But because I got death threats for the first video that I did that was explaining briefly about leases and who's allowed on certain properties, I was very shy about releasing this other video. So members have access to that video, which I've still not released. But yeah, I got death threats for explaining to people that no, just because it's a crown lease doesn't mean that anyone who pays taxes is just allowed to come on the place. people
That's
got
ridiculous.
so fired up about it, like saying, "I'm going to come to your house, I'm going to fucking shoot you," and I was just like, "Nah,
Well,
hand this off to the cops." I'm sorry,
Have
but
you
that's
seen
just
what I
not-
do? Have you seen what I do to camels? Come on.
That was my question. Like, have you seen my videos? Have you seen how well I shoot? Death threat me all you want. Bring it on.
Yeah, but that's just ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
stupid.
So it was
So
a
Public
48,
land.
it was $48 for a 20 round box.
Yeah. Now, William, is
So-
that? I just really need to find out. Is that like FMJ target rounds or lead round? Those, or is that a like PDX or something?
Are you guys?
You're not gonna get-
Are hollow points legal?
Yeah,
For you?
yeah, absolutely.
On that note, since we're talking about hollow points, I was going somewhere else, but now I'm curious. What's the difficulty in actually being able to utilize those hollow points to defend yourself in Australia
You're not allowed to use guns.
at all to
Really?
defend yourself?
No, not at all. No, there's not actually a. We have a law that's about reasonable force, which is like you're allowed to use reasonable force to defend yourself. So if someone comes at you with a baseball bat, you
You can also use
are
those.
allowed to use a knife, but if you've ever been trained how to use a knife, you're not.
How about a spear? That'd be my
What if
next
you've been
choice,
trained?
personally.
Harpoon.
So if you've had any sort of training with a knife, you're not
So
allowed
if
to use
somebody
Wow.
is mad at you about explaining things and comes to your house with a gun that they're not allowed to threaten you with to
Holy
shoot you, are you going to get in trouble if you meet that level of force with a similar level of force?
it would
Jeez.
come down to like the court system, but when you, basically here you're meant to just get shot and let the courts deal with it.
jeez.
Fantastic.
Nope.
So the 20 round box was lead round, no FMJ allowed at his range.
Yeah, that's madness.
Oh,
I
wait,
would
What
be.
you meant by you meant actual lead, not hollow point. You meant oh my god.
No, like just lead, just
I'm-
straight up.
I'm catching up now. Shit.
No. So like self-defense here in Australia is pretty weird.
Yeah, that's what I've read before too.
So that
The only people
That-
who are allowed to use firearms for self-defense are the police force,
makes no sense whatsoever.
and they don't actually have to abide by the rules of equivalent force.
Oh, because they're
Well,
cops and they don't
well,
have to follow the rules.
Please don't have to do that here either.
Right.
True.
There's a common theme coming. All these questions of mine, they are leading back full circle. So, the government of Australia, is Australia still a? You say the Crown is. Do you say that in jest, or is Australia still a?
Part of the kingdom,
Right.
Part of our
The
head of
Commonwealth.
state. Yeah, part of the Commonwealth. Our head of state is the King of England.
Okay. So it is Crown land.
Yeah, but effectively, it's goes to like our Governor General, and then the states. Like the King really doesn't have much of a say about what happens down here.
No, but it's on paper technically.
But you make your own laws as your own country, and the king is like, okay, we have Australia, neat, and you guys just do.
Yeah,
your
we
own
don't
thing
pay taxes or anything to them anymore. Most of that
anymore.
changed. Yeah.
Okay, so, I'm not sure how that led me down that road. Anyway, my main question is. The Crown recognizes that the camels are a massive problem. I seem to recall about 100 years or so ago-ish, Australia had the same-ish issue with emus and managed to lose that war. So my question is, you have a government that recognizes that camels are a massive problem, but they forbid you the proper tools to take care of them.
Well, look,
Why?
here in Western Australia, there's no need for a semi-automatic, according to the
Not even a
policymakers.
little.
Blasphemy.
Not, I haven't
not at
looked
all.
at your videos and seen any need for a semi-auto Great Lakes firearms Lorge action.
Anything
Yeah,
that's a semi-auto.
An AR.
You couldn't use a 300 Win Mag semi-auto at all.
That's a little pricey.
I don't think I would need that. That's the
Yeah.
priciness.
That's
All right,
doubling his
fair
ammo
enough.
cost.
308's a good. You're right. I'm just being extreme, but yeah.
No, but it's strange. That is the official line is there is no genuine need for a self-loader centerfire. Now, I'm allowed a semi-automatic shotgun, or a semi-automatic rimfire. So 22 Magnum, and I've got one. Now, we had the police minister, when I made a lot of complaints about it, say, "Oh no, farmers have access to semi-automatic rifles already, and they are perfectly adequate for the job." I'll be releasing the video of using the semi-automatic 22 Magnum
Oh no!
on a
camels?
camel.
Awesome. I'm so
And-
excited.
Is it as bad as we know it is?
No. The thing doesn't even care.
Right.
It's
Say.
just
Right,
like
it's
I said
bad.
Bad, not good. Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it as poor performing as we expected?
Yeah, it doesn't
Yes,
go down. No.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. That
Yeah,
the camel doesn't
considering
even care.
I've bounced 308 rounds off camel heads before. So
Well,
what do
I
you
was
reckon a
looking at
22 is going to do?
I was looking at their skulls, and I can imagine how you hit that thing at the right angle, and it's gonna go wing.
Yeah.
'Cause
Shooting
How
long
thick?
cow.
This is a random elk skull I found out in the woods, and I was looking at the camel skull, going, "Oh, I need me one of those."
I brought some camel skulls home the other day. They're over at the workshop, but they're not terribly thick. But
No,
then
but
if
just
you
some of
think
the-
about it, like
Some of the angles on them.
funny
Yeah,
thing
it's
to
all about
watch
the
is
angles.
camels fighting. They
Sorry,
just
go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I
like
can see that.
giraffes.
Well, I would imagine it like similar to, tank armor. If you just throw the shot at the right angle, it's just going to deflect off, regardless of how thin or thick it is. So,
Is this your new defense industry suggestion? Cover tanks with camel skulls. I like it.
They just design them as a camel skull.
Oh, I like that even better.
I think they've already determined
If you
that body
think
armor
about
works better on
And
fat
those-
people.
those creepy camel jaws come up and they grab other tanks and they just go.
Well, and then
just
also,
eat the
like,
tank.
who are we going to be fighting against? Are they going to be like, "Oh no, we can't shoot a camel because they're holy and sacred"?
Those are our condoms.
Oh boy.
If I really, since I hit the media with camel and camel killing, and so this is back to 2016. If I got a couple of dollars for every jihad called on me, I'd be able to afford a lot more beer.
Nice.
You'd be able to at least get 2 or 3 30 racks.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
why is that? Do people just think the camels are cute and are mad that you're shooting them?
Oh no,
Nice.
I've got a comment, and I should be able to bring it up here very closely. And it only came in yesterday.
Just
As I was-
leave them alone.
No,
Poor
even better
innocent
than
camels.
That. I'm just gonna find. Whoa, where is it?
So while you look for that, I got an interesting story related. So my family has, as I was growing up, my mom just labeled all of us different animals. I was the giraffe. My older brother was a wolf. My little sister was an elephant, and my little brother, the fish squeezer, was a buffalo. And that is partly because he was obsessed with buffalo and hunted buffalo with a fake shotgun until he was about 16. Anyway, love you, fish squeezer. So, guess what my mother was?
A llama.
She was a camel.
Uh,
And so when I told her that we were going to talk to Jack, the camel killer, she was like, "But he'll kill me." And I was like, "No, Mom, He will not. You have 2 humps. He only kills 1 humped camels." And she was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine."
Okay, this is not a good joke about your own mother,
God.
sir.
Look,
No,
unfortunately, this is a common joke in my family that
back off your
my
mic.
mother was the camel, but she was always the 2-humped camel. And I hate that I know this joke, but unfortunately I do, and now you guys do too. So, Dave, chalk it up to the list.
Just
Here's another
sharing the
one.
love.
Jack,
Goodbye.
please. What was that comment?
Yes, please.
Hi, Jack. I wanted to tell you that you will lose many of your close loved ones in the coming days. Then remember me.
Oh,
Okay, then.
my God.
Was that you, Sam?
Oh, no. No. Well,
Was that it?
That's. But you've got to remember
That
when
was the
it's
extent of the.
when it's translated into English, it's a lot tamer. So
Yeah.
in the native tongue of the person, who, if I describe it as Sanskrit, there's a lot of emojis involved in it, and
You will lose much family in coming day.
yes,
You sent this to me in Sanskrit. I'm sure I will.
that's goofy. Interesting development. It would not have expected that angle.
Yeah.
So
look, it's
Go ahead.
it's interesting, those insults, like, shame to you and your family. May God judge you in paradise, and paradise will come to you soon. And you're like, oh, that's a really nice thing to say.
Dishonor upon you, dishonor upon your cow.
Yeah. It's gonna-
So the Campbells that are, so when you're saying that would explain why because the first thing I noticed watching when Dave's like, "Hey, you should check out this guy." I'm like, all right, fine, looked it up, and I'm expecting the way Dave described it was like you were almost riding around on a dirt bike, shooting camels on the run. And then I watched the video, and these camels just like, "Oh, something's going on. Should we leave? Like, I don't know, maybe we'll wander off." But
Yeah,
saying
camels
that-
are dumb.
saying that they've never actually seen a human being before, that makes a lot of sense. They don't even know what you are to know, oh, it's time to run away.
And this is what so many people don't understand. They go fast. Like,
Okay.
I've just got to get the conversion for you.
Like once they get going, they get going.
You
Oh,
can
yeah,
talk
no.
in metric numbers. We'll
Yeah.
mentally translate as best we can.
Unlike most troglodytes, I'm actually okay with the metric system.
We
All
do
right,
shoot
so-
millimeter.
I
Yeah,
was muted.
yeah.
I was going to say I can translate. I have a Prado.
Oh yeah, we gotta get into the Inquisitor because I am personally in love with your highlights.
I
What was
use
the-
10mm wrenches all the time.
What do they run in clicks? I'll see if I can do it real quick.
No, okay, I'll get to that in a second. But there was a joke about America.
Oh.
And it's
Here
if
we
America
go.
hates the metric system so much, why do they measure their 2 favorite things in metric?
To be fair, we only measure half of one of our favorite things. in metric.
This says ounces.
I never measured my favorite thing. Wait. Wait a minute.
Well, I did because the number's bigger.
Mike's
Yeah.
over here like, that is 1/700th of a camel long.
You're right. 254 millimeters is bigger than 1 inch.
Yeah. Like, if you say 15.4,
I said 254 millimeter. Oh my god, that is so big.
Yeah.
25.
That's so fucking big.
Well, it's like I didn't.
Hopefully, that's what she said.
It is bigger than 1 inch, to be fair.
Well, it's like I didn't make up this joke. Someone else did. One of our other buddies. But we have 10 millimeters of caliber. He's like, shouldn't it be 1 centimeter? And I sat there and
Mhm.
thought about it for a minute. Went,
You son
son of a bitch, she's right.
Yeah.
We
He's
measure
not wrong.
tires in millimeters.
Yeah.
No, we measure them in millimeters and inches, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Do
I
you
just,
do-
I never understood that.
Because you're part of the Commonwealth, do you do miles an hour down there?
No.
Why does Britain?
Because
England is a backwards island.
they're the ones that came up with the damn system.
I know. That's
That-
which is
some
why it's
things
called the
I've never let
English
go of.
system. And yeah, we're one to talk about letting go of that system.
Anyway,
That's right. I trust
Don't
you.
worry. When America goes to the metric system, I'll be prepared.
So, how many mics fast does a camel run?
For the record, he runs
Much faster
really
than a
slow.
Prado. I guarantee
Two and a
it.
half.
2.5 mics. Yeah, that makes
That's pretty
yeah,
slow.
That's pretty
That's-
fucking slow.
Yeah.
For
So,
frame of reference for you, Jack, I'm very, very slow.
Anyway, back on point.
All right, so I'll give it to you in kilometers an hour. 45.
All right,
Okay.
So
40
like
clicks is
28
24 miles an hour, so 45 would be about 28, 29 miles an hour.
28 miles an
Yeah.
hour.
Close to 30.
Close enough to 30.
Close
I
enough
know
to
this
30
because
to
40
30.
kilometers an hour is what I was going underneath when my neighbor came and yelled at me, but that's another story.
Yeah, for another
That's
time.
another 2 stories.
Fucking
So
Jack Carr.
what you're saying is a camel can outrun Usain Bolt.
A camel can get done for a speeding fine in a school zone.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
I
like
now
to
want, I now
a
want
camel
U-
would spit on the
usually
cop
what-
for
what-
pulling him over.
Well, we're usually not chasing like camels through school zones with guns.
I was
either.
about to say, now I want to ride a camel through a school zone and see what happens. Thank
you
you.
know
for
Well,
what?
it's safe.
Until
it's
you
safe
said
place.
that, Jack, Australia seems so much
It's a
cooler.
safe place.
But you ruined it. You've ruined the dream. Can't chase
If you were, I was
camels
about
through
to be like,
school
hey,
zones.
yeehaw, mate.
Well, we were talking about this last night, where it's you can do like you've got city Australian accent, you've got country Australian accent, and sometimes you can switch between the two of them.
Mhm.
And to be able to speak what we would call farmer, so you change your accent to be speaking farmer.
They all sound the same to us, just as I'm sure we all sound the same to you.
What?
I don't
thought
know.
you
I don't
had
think a
just one
southerner
accent.
sounds the same to him as a northerner does.
Oh,
And
hell no.
I'd imagine it's the same. It's very, very similar. Like your farmers probably, the farmers are probably southerners, and the city dwellers are probably the northerners to you.
Except for us, it's like the middlers.
Yeah.
The middlers.
Middlers. And then the edgers.
Yeah.
The crazy Santa.
Yes.
I'm an Australian edger.
Oh
I bet
my!
you are.
Well, now we know what his Pornhub history looks like.
So middlers and edgers is now a show title possibility.
No,
Anyway.
it was almost offensive when someone commented on a video and said, "Oh, I thought you were a Queenslander." And I was like, "Oh."
Well, that would be like you telling one of us that we sounded like we were from Boston. Boston.
It's all right. We know what the people from Boston sound like.
How could you not?
That
My sister-in-law's from
yard.
Boston, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't speak English.
The
Best
answer is
thing that ever happened
douchebags,
there was
right?
America.
It's douchebags. It's got to be douchebags.
They don't say Star Wars; they say Star Wars, and you're like, "What?"
I got to go park the car in the Harvard yard. Shut the fuck up.
That's probably because they got.
Hey,
punched in
we
the
might
face too
have
many
listeners
times.
in Boston. Damn it.
Not anymore.
Good. Go away.
We're about to
We
get
have
emails.
we have this discussion so many times. It's like, oh, you can't say that on the channel. Like, you're gonna lose some viewers from XYZ. And we're like,
Fuck it.
am I
Okay.
really like concerned
If we
about
might-
that?
Am I going to be missing them, really?
Yeah, who's gonna miss me more?
We're going to get
Oh,
a bunch
no.
of messages from people with a bunch of long A sounds telling us most of our family will be dead in the coming days.
See, there you
Nobody
go.
in
All
Massachusetts
written
knows how to
answer.
hunt anyway, so it's not even a big deal.
So, while we're on the topic of camels, you said
Can we
that you
talk about
keep
their toes?
You said that you keep a spreadsheet for all the camels that you killed. Do you have an idea of how many camels you have personally put down?
Like, we've got the 700 and
I'm
something for this
so
year.
excited for this number.
We know,
Uh,
Mike. Some answer.
Do you want me to
I-
start with a different species, like just to put it
Sure.
in perspective? Like,
Yes.
Okay, how many koalas?
one.
One? That's
Okay.
more than
Riddled
I
with
expected,
chlamydia.
actually.
So my next question on the koala is, how did it taste?
It's a little bit like a cross between platypus and emu.
I totally know what you mean.
Yeah, I've got total frame of reference for both of those meats. Don't
No,
get
so-
emotional. Sorry, I
That's it.
fucked it up.
Emotional.
Emotional.
Yeah.
I was gonna say emotional, but I fucked it up because I don't know how to word. So
Emotional?
Emotionals, like when you get a little bit clucky.
He's way better at this than you, Mike.
he's probably way soberer than me too.
Mike brings out the best in all of us. That's why you love him.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the sweetest thing anybody said to me in the last
Don't get
20
used to it.
years.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
don't
found-
get
I just found the
comfortable.
I just found the best PETA flag, and I want it. Hang on, I got to do the share screen thing. Wait for it. Where'd it go? There we go.
Hey, look, it's like if you got Eric Snowden right involved with it, you've got the pedophiles.
Well, I want this. The pedophile. They have a flag or a banner. For those listening, it's like a little koala inside like a meat package. It says "Eating meat kills koalas," and it's being held by a bunch of men wearing koala masks and short
Wait,
shorts.
is this okay?
That's
I
a
have to know.
quality meme.
Can you believe
Yeah.
koala this bullshit?
Can you go buy koala at the
I-
supermarket?
I looked, I didn't see any. I was really sad.
My question is it high quality?
That's the second time you tried that one.
No.
He tried.
And
He
I'm
did
going to keep
try.
going. I'm
Yeah.
going to keep going.
No,
I
the
will
biggest
not
thing
stop.
that people like never talk about is how much of an asshole koalas are.
I've heard that. Oh,
Yeah.
are wombats as big of assholes as I've seen on YouTube, where they just try and bowl you over constantly and they don't go away?
Did you know that they are 90% bulletproof?
Nope, but now I won't
Wombats?
try.
There's a lot of accounts of people trying to shoot wombats.
Is that why the term combat wombat exists?
Yeah, it's just basically body armor. The whole bloody animal is
Good lord.
armored. No, people shooting shot like a 12 gauge with buckshot down at a wombat and copping it back in their own face.
Oh god. God damn. It's horrible.
It's almost like when my
violent
brother
animal.
and my cousin were, doing their own version of Mythbusters in the workshop, and they were testing out the whole how far a bullet can penetrate into a bucket of water, and
No.
they both sat there with the 22. Now I'm going to tell you, 22 penetrates water really well.
Mm-hmm.
They hit the bottom of the bucket and it bounced back up.
I mean,
They were wearing
Mythbusters did a
safety
thing on
glasses,
this.
so it's okay.
That's good. They were being safe, but Mythbusters did a thing on this, and the bigger the bullet, the faster it's going, the quicker it breaks up.
Yeah.
The slower the bullet, the smaller surface area it's got, the further it'll go in the water.
Yeah.
Which
And that's why I've got one anti-whale bullet left.
Oh, I want to eat. I've got one of our buddies is going to Iceland here pretty soon, and you can eat beluga whale in Iceland, and I'm really jealous.
Speaking of eating,
I was going to say, I imagine whale would taste like camel.
I was about to say,
what does camel taste like? Because I know you're not killing all these animals and not eating some of them. I know
Well-
it's probably impossible to eat 784 camels.
well, let's
In
see you feel
6
that's
weeks.
74
It
and 84 camels. In
Usually
Yeah,
ends up
I'm
with
not doing it.
140 kilos. Sorry, 140 tons. Sorry,
140 tons of
a year.
meat.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Jesus.
That's literally more meat than you guys can even deal with. So what do you do with them? Like, obviously you probably take everything that you can possibly want
What's
off
the
of them.
choice cut out of a camel? Like, what's the thing you get when you of course can't take the whole thing, but what's that one thing you get?
I've seen Rush Hour. It's camel's hump.
You just go for the backstrap. Just dive into it. About 5 or 7 minutes. Like I did a video. So the video that came out today, and I was like, oh shit! Like it took me even explaining it. It was that little amount of time cutting to take out the backstrap that I had to work out how to fill the video out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just get into it. Just run the
take the
blade
good
down,
stuff and run away.
Yeah, and just fuck off, Ski. Really?
Do you even bother trying to cut in to get the tenderloins too, or do you just take the backstrap and leave it?
I've done that before. That's where your tomahawk comes in.
Yep.
Tomahawk's better than a bone saw. I don't know why, but it just was. You just crack the ribs and you
That is
open it
correct.
up from the top. Yeah. And then
Interesting.
you just reach in there, and because they're sitting down, if you kill them traditional style, you know, the guts are hanging down. So then as soon as you get in there, you can run a blade across the membrane and the guts drop inside the body. And then you've got this nice cavity that you can just reach in and, perform a little bit of internal surgery and grab a fillet out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Gutless method there.
And now we know.
So how's it taste?
Look, I'd be lying if you can't really tell the difference between that and beef.
That's interesting because my first instinct with camel, because I know how they usually smell, would be like goat meat equivalent.
Mm.
But
Shit, no, goat's terrible compared to camel.
I don't like goat meat. And so my first instinct, like camel's, like I'm not eating that thing.
The last time I cooked goat, I got drunk and tried to roast a leg.
So that was step one. Like step one of cooking goat is get drunk.
Yeah.
So my dad
Get drunk.
installed. My
Forget
dad's
that
installed.
goat tastes bad.
Yeah.
My dad's installed carpet forever, and in one of the warehouses he used to work in when I was a little kid, some of the installers from Mexico, they decided they wanted to borrow the warehouse one time because they were gonna slaughter this goat and roast it there and eat it over the weekend. And the warehouse manager's like, "You're gonna kill a goat in the warehouse?" They're like, "Yeah, because there's the floor drain." And so no shit, they just cut the goat's throat right above the floor drain and went to town. Yeah. Anyway,
Unrelated.
hate
Somebody send me a link to the live stream on YouTube because I
No.
cannot find it.
No, on the private
it's
chat,
in
you've
the
got the
private
link.
chat, sir.
Yeah.
He wants to go on there and comment about how great Mike is.
Helpless.
No, I'm not.
So anyway, camel tastes great. Got it.
Yeah. Turn it into sausages, biltong. So biltong's different to jerky. Now, this is quite often. So, not quite sure how big like your African population is over there. But yeah, biltong is the air dried spiced meat, where jerky is like a oven marinated meat. It's almost cooked in it. So yeah, the biltong, you go South African spec. Quite good.
Yeah, biltong here is more of like a bougie thing. Like it's what like the people on the keto diet are like, ooh, we're really health conscious. They think that biltong is like, oh, it's better than jerky because jerky is like, redneck
It's
food.
full of sugar.
I may be off base
I
here,
take
but I
offense.
think in most of the United States that it's too humid to actually make air dried biltong. You would have to create an artificial environment to make it, which would basically, I don't know, just jerky in a bigger container at that point. It's like most of the Southeast is 100% humidity most of the year, and the rest of the country isn't much better.
So over here, people, when they make a biltong like dryer or something, for me, it's really good. I just go to my meat room and I just hang it up and just leave it for 2 days and it's done. In other places, people will get a fridge. So you get an old fridge and you put a 60-watt light globe in there. Well, not an LED one.
Yeah,
Don't care about the
filament light bulb.
a real light bulb.
Yep.
And you get that little bit of heat into it to dry it. People put extractor fans and everything. Also, we've got someone from Tennessee who's jumped on.
We are
have
also
that
in
up.
America.
Well, we have this really lame joke when it's like, you're in a pub and you see a girl and you're like, oh, are you from America? Because you're the only 10 I see around here.
It's the worst pickup line in the history of pickup lines, except for
No,
I don't know
every
if
pickup
it
line
is.
I've ever laid on women. Apparently,
No, there are some terrible ones out there.
How much does a polar bear weigh?
enough to break the ice. Hi, I'm Mike.
I'm Dave.
I don't know why I put up with you people. All right, so
You have no choice.
I mean, I could mute you. I always have a choice.
He could boot you.
No, well, I missed the days when he'd mute himself and then automatically get booted because his computer was janked. But
Oh, my computer's
anyway.
still janked. I just have upgraded to new parts.
so there's a
Wait,
question.
So is it
here.
Vince that's
Vince have a
glitchy and
goon
not me?
bag?
Because that would be really nice if it's
What was that, Jack?
Does Vince have a goon
Vince.
bag?
I think is having a goon bag.
Do you not?
I
Okay,
read that.
so-
That was in the list. That was in the list. I know what that
Well,
means.
everyone drink. It's on the list.
What?
I just looked up what goon bag means. Yep, he totally has that. That's our Vince right there.
$13.
Is that a red wine? A Merlot?
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
there's
okay.
a 50-50 shot. It's mixed with Jack Daniels right now.
it's still in the bag. You can't mix it yet.
Oh,
Okay.
That's almost.
Can
as
someone
bad as
with
pirate juice.
the not Jakey computer explain what goon bag is to me because it's still loading?
Boxed wine. It's colloquial for boxed wine.
It's actually an Australian
Ah,
invention.
gotcha.
The bag inside the boxed wine
Oh, we
is an Australian invention, and
This is
we
the
have
best
this
thing ever.
traditional Australian game where
That's literally-
a washing line, like a clothesline here. We have the one that you can spin around, like you peg things on, you turn around. Now they're called a heels hoist, and again, that's another Australian invention. And this Australian game or traditional party game is that you would peg this onto the clothesline, and you all stand around,
Stop it,
and
Vince.
then you spin it, and whoever it lands on has to drink. And that game is called Goon of Fortune.
oh God!
I like this game.
That's awesome. Dave, install a clothesline like this.
Do you know how
What
many
would you
beer
guys
cans
call
I
them?
can
You'd
fit
call
on
them
a
a
clothesline?
rotary hanger or something, wouldn't you?
Clothesline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean a clothesline like that. Yeah, I mean we had a
Oh.
clothesline
We don't-
growing up, which was just the line from one pole to the next. But I know what you're talking about, and I like this.
Oh, like the
Next
laundry tree.
Yeah,
A laundry tree.
Yeah, you just get the
Writing
clay
that
target
down.
launcher, put the whole bag on there, and just launch it up. And then Yeah.
laundry tree.
So, when I was deployed to Korea in 2010, a buddy of mine, a real good buddy of mine, he was like, "Hey, let's play a game," and I was like, "Okay, what's this game?" And he was like, "Well,
Was it gay
you
chicken?
know, beer pong, right?" No, we played more or less too much gay chicken, and
and you
became
won every time.
normalized.
actually, a buddy of mine, two buddies of mine, they were playing gay chicken, and they just didn't stop. They kept
Never
going.
mind.
They've been married 10 years now, and I'm starting to suspect they're both actually gay. Anyway,
Worst one was
um,
Gay Chicken, and then one guy didn't realize it. There was a game called Gay Chicken and just ran with it.
I heard that
dude,
was.
they're both happy.
cockfighting.
Whatever. I mean,
Mike G. Gay Chicken King, 1996.
No, he's hot raptor.
look, leave my 18-year-old email out of this.
Anyway, deployed to Korea.
So yeah, deployed to Korea, and
After Gay Chicken.
no, this was during gay chicken. So he's like, I've got this idea, and I'm like, all right. He says, you know, beer pong, and I was like, yes. And he holds up this box of wine, and I'm like, oh no. We absolutely played wine pong with box wine. It was it was absolutely as bad an idea as it sounds like. Yep, Dave's throwing up. That's basically what happened.
Okay.
But that's Korea for you.
Yeah, get on the soju, man.
Yeah, oh god, I miss soju.
Which Korea?
We were in a Korean restaurant the other day,
Best
and they had
Korea.
soju, and I was like,
Best Korea? He said best. Yep. See,
Oh, I heard.
you know damn well
surgery-
I was not in best Korea.
Go ahead,
that's
Vince.
your problem.
I stepped
another
foot in
there.
best Korea.
I heard surgery, and I was like, "Is he telling Mike to get an operation?"
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh boy.
Like I transitioned while I was there and transitioned back. It was fine.
Anyway, that time Mike was in Thailand.
I was in
Then
Thailand.
he moved to Trinidad.
Oh boy.
Oh god.
He won the
Thailand was
Olympics.
awesome.
Oh, I
I'm
bet
sure
it was.
Dude, my Thailand story.
No.
I don't need to,
No.
Nope, not right now. I know, but
Moving on.
All right.
Vince.
Hey, Jack, I have a question, and this is probably my main question. I see you out there. I watched one of these videos where you're running around kind of in a cattle pen with these camels, trying to chase them out before you shoot them, because I guess you learned your lesson earlier that you didn't want to shoot them in the pen. Are they dangerous at all? Like, are you in danger of being like charged by one of these things and run over?
I wish I could just flick a video to you. And it's like a domesticated camel picking a dude up by the head.
Oh, I've seen that
And-
one.
Saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, they are dangerous.
Okay.
And I can tell you what, so that's the night video. So that's only on the members page because we sort of thought it was a bit too gruesome, and we've got to wait until the 11th of March before we can actually put anything up that's gruesome again.
You haven't met the timeline yet.
so
Yeah, the YouTube.
in 10 days,
you know,
please let us know. I'd like to see
Yeah.
this.
So I know what I'm doing after this, becoming a member, so I can see the gruesome video.
yeah, so I'd gone out at like on a Sunday evening because I'd flown that day and I saw some camels in a yard. I'm like, oh, you fucking bastards! Like, you're just gonna ruin my day. Nah, fuck it. I'm gonna go home, just have a chill day, play some Nintendo with the kids. And this evening, I'm going out with my thermal kit and the night vision gear. I'm going to let these camels out. I'm just going to let them walk away gently, and then I'm going to shoot them on the other side of the airstrip. 3 of them went out. The others did not want to go out at all. They ran out at one point, and then they got about 30 yards outside of the yard, and then they came back into the yard because that was their safe place. They weren't well educated, but they worked out that the guys that went outside before got shot. No one got shot inside the yard. Let's go back to the yard. We won't get shot. I spent about an hour and a half trying to convince them to leave. And yeah, that video doesn't exactly show you how close, but I'm about 2.5 meters away from these things, and they are amongst the biggest camels that I've ever come across. And yeah, camels are dangerous. I've been bitten, I've been kicked, I've been headbutted. Like, it gets pretty brutal. And that was animals that I hadn't even shot. So yeah, camels are dangerous. That was a high risk move. I did carry my revolver with me in case like I needed to. I could just pull that out and whack them. But yeah, I didn't need to use the revolver. I just point blanked them with a throwaway.
I have a question. What's the revolver?
Smith & Wesson 686.
Ooh,
Nice.
What caliber?
357 Magnum.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that was so. I'm not allowed to carry a semi-automatic pistol for work. So people go, "Oh, revolver's a semi-automatic." No, fuck off. You're being an idiot. When I put a magazine in something and I rack it, that's a semi-automatic.
Mm-hmm.
Something with a wheel is a wheel gun. That's a revolver. Anyway,
that's common sense.
we weren't
It
allowed.
revolves.
We aren't allowed to have semi-automatic pistols for work here. So that's my only personal defense weapon is actually my revolver, and it's only for use in cattle yards or in yards when mustering wild animals. And yeah, that's the self-defense one. And I got into the argument with licensing, and I said, "Look, I'm qualified on semi-automatic pistols. That's what I'm used to. They're safer. I can just drop a mag, clear it. I can even have a mag in it, nothing in the chamber. I just have to rack it. It's like 0.5 of a second to action up." And I said, "No, sorry. The rules say pistol, and our definition of a pistol is a wheel gun."
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, get a 44 Magnum." And I said, "They're not high enough velocity. I want the most powerful pistol cartridge ever produced. I'm getting a 357 Magnum because I know it can go through steel." Because
I'll do, donkey.
Mm-hmm.
they continue to say that it's all about public safety.
Yeah,
It's not. It's about control, and it
Oh,
doesn't matter what nation it is. But I
So
I-
that
clearly
brings
Dave
me-
is on board with me going down this road.
that brings me to one of the questions that I had is what gun laws would you like? What changes in gun laws would you like to see there in Australia? I mean, would you go full blown like everybody gets a belt fed, or you're like, hey man, I want an AR and I want a semi-auto 10 millimeter, and I just kind of want to know your thoughts.
Right, you're gonna have to give me just 1 minute because my beer's low, and the consumption of beer has increased the bladder load.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's
feel that.
Oh, you don't have a
Go-
bucket?
While Jack's taking a break, I'll just tell everybody that Dave is broadcasting from the inside of
A whale.
a milk crate,
Yeah, it seems like it.
like an industrial-sized tank that's been emptied out for his particular usage.
and he just hangs a cow elk skull and a rifle on it to.
I said,
Oh wait,
Dave,
talking
talking,
about Dave.
you're right, Dave. My bad. Sorry.
talking about the echo in the background.
Yeah, you're
Sam,
right.
you got to beat him up
Come
now.
on.
What, Dave?
I said you
I'm
got to
dumb.
beat him up now.
I mean, I don't.
All he has to do is
I don't hurt
like-
crippled people and old people.
I,
Only
Is that
fight
a-
people my own size.
I am your size. I'm just also crippled and old.
You're shorter than me.
my buddies had their.
I also
nuts
have
cut
like
the other
40
day.
By like an
pounds on me
inch.
now.
Yeah, your 30 pounds are your 30 pounds would render into a nice, delicious.
That's not true. I was wearing my. That'd be too much information, but my wife will like to hear it. I was wearing my. It says scheduled and StreamYard win. Oh wow! I'm looking at private chat from 901 where Dave said if it was scheduled. I was wearing my grid fleece and I could see my pecs. I was like, well, yeah, I'm a good looking man right there. It is not fat, sir. I could kick your ass. Granted, my 4-year-old could probably kick your ass too.
I mean, you think you can kick my ass and like. Let's
I
see
can
what
kick your
happens.
Well,
Bitch.
while we've lost half of our crew, should I aim for the trash can with this can?
Absolutely.
gonna-
No, I'm gonna.
Do it.
You ain't gonna.
Almost.
So I'm going to tell this story since you did that. I used to work at Jimmy John's, right? And the area manager's husband was also he was the maintenance manager for a bunch of the stores in the franchise. And he was up there. He was changing a light bulb, and I'm like, oh, what's this month? Yeah, all right, changing a light bulb, cool. So he pulls the bulb down. He reaches over to the trash can, which was right next to him, and he goes, Kobe, and he throws it. And it lands on the floor instead and shatters. And I was like, nope, that's Kobe.
I was about to say that sounds perfectly accurate.
Yeah. That.
Anyway, welcome back.
That's correct.
I have a question after you answer Dave's question about the
Oh boy.
laws and what
It's
you
a-
would want to be changed and
Goddamn,
how
Vince.
you would want it.
Look, it's a big,
What, am I allowed?
it's a big list. So you guys are familiar with the massacre we had in 1996,
Yep.
Right.
and for quite a long time he held a world record. Just you got to be proud of the small things.
Yep.
He did hold the
It's
record.
one of the rules of Zombieland.
Yeah.
Enjoy the
He had
little
a-
things.
Had a pretty good rate there. A lot of questions there about legitimacy and some of the things that happened there. But Australia turned around and went, "Yep, let's change all of our rules." This is state by state. The entire country agreed to a whole load of rules and regulations. Now, Western Australia, where I am, we are the only state that has had since 1974, when we had introduced our Firearms Act, registration of firearms. We've always had it. Pretty much, we're only 200 years old as a country. For a good 50 or 60 years now, we've had registration. By that time, we'd had 30 years of registration. So Western Australia already had some pretty hardcore rules with firearms.
Mm-hmm.
All the states got together and said, this is it. This is the National Firearms Agreement. We're all going to use these rules. And it was, yep, you've got gun registration. You have to have a gun safe. It has to be able to be locked. It has to be secured by 40 millimeter washers. Of course, you guys know 40 Mike. The walls have to be this thick, etc., etc. And that was a brilliant set of rules because it had in there primary producers and professional pest controllers are allowed to use semi-automatic rifles. Suppressors are allowed when the need arises. Handguns are allowed to be used by pest controllers and farmers, for finishing off livestock or animals that they pest. We had these rules all just laid together and just thrown out there. Only problem is, while everyone agreed to it, not everyone enacted it. Western Australia never went and said, yeah, let's follow the list. We actually turned around and said, fuck it, we're going to make our own rules that actually ignore most of the suggestions and recommendations from that agreement that we actually said, yeah, we're down for. Mm-hmm. And so we lost all of these abilities to have, as primary producers, semi-automatic centerfire rifles. And we aren't allowed suppressors and all of that. So 2016 here, we had one of the biggest consultations in regards to firearms ownership and firearms laws in history. We, as a state, we actually got recommendations from every other state in the country. We got recommendations from the United Kingdom. We got it from Ireland. We even got some from America and Canada. And they put together this wicked report, and it's called Project 105. And it just went through really quite sensible rules about firearms ownership. And one of them was, look, you don't need more than 2 semi-automatic centerfire rifles. It was but if you do, you can as a primary producer or a professional shooter. And we reckon that you should have suppressors because they're good for occupational, workplace, and safety. Mm-hmm. Now, the government of the day turned around and said, nah, fuck those rules, throw them in the bin. And 6 months later, we had an illegal shooting, and it, was a bikie on bikie, so bikie gangs killing. And it was, let's call it a 300-meter sniper execution.
Good God.
And it was done with a 223. And so then they turned around and said, we've got to make all these new gun rules and laws and everything. And then they started this process of bringing what they want now. Here, we're about to face that we're only allowed 10 firearms in the entire station. So 1 million acres, 10 guns.
Wow.
No one else is allowed more than 5 guns unless you're a competition shooter as well. Then you're allowed 10 guns. You're not allowed to use your competition gun for recreation. So if I've got a 308 for target shooting, I can't use it out at my mate's farm for shooting kangaroos. So the state of play at the moment here is terrible. We do have a lot of people that don't really have a need for firearms, and it gets very contentious because in our shooting community is one of the most vile and aggressive groups that we have, and it's that they fight each other, and they fight anyone. They are the most they cause the most division amongst themselves. So they turn this into a fight of, I'm a recreational shooter. Oh, you're a farmer. No, fuck farmers. Farmers never let me come shoot in my place. It's well, that's because you're a dickhead. I'm sorry, but
that'll do it.
Yep. So there's a lot of people who bought guns just for the sake of having them, and they use them once every 2 or 3 years. And it's a little bit of a problem because we had this system where to provide a genuine need for a firearm, you had to have this thing called a property letter. So I write a letter for Dave saying Dave can come to my place and shoot camels. So he needs a 308. He gets a 308, but never comes to the station. And you've got it and you use it for whatever you want. A couple of guys worked out that what they can actually do is write a letter for Dave, but also say this doesn't actually grant you permission on the station, but it means that you could shoot here if we wanted you to shoot here. And because that's your genuine need, you've walked into the gun shop and you're like, oh, I really want that gun. It looks cool. And I just want it to, occasionally go just to the outskirts of Perth and shoot a kangaroo or whatever. And the gun shop goes, oh, yeah, mate, not a problem. If you want a property letter, it's going to cost you $1,000. And so when these guys started selling these things, which was selling a genuine need for a firearm. And
so organized crime.
Anyone who wanted a gun could buy one and a property letter. These guys worked out that depending on who it was, they just bumped the price up or down just because they needed a gun, wanted a gun, whatever. And they got into a bit of an argument. So they were fighting against licensing, and they got into an argument and said, nah, fuck you guys, we're allowed to. Legally, we're allowed to. We can do it. We can do it. And then the police went, well, it's kind of a bit of a dick move. What if we change the law? And then they went, oh, okay, yeah, that's not cool. It's like, yeah, but you guys were being dicks, so we're going to be dicks to you. So here's the cricket bat. We're just smacking the ball back over towards you. So our firearms laws and legislation is really complicated, but quite simply, they've gone too far. And it's because a couple of people pissed them off and everyone's getting punished. It's this collective punishment. And it's one person fucks up, the entire group gets punished, which is not cool. We know that through history isn't ideal. But for myself, what I'd simply like to see is that, this firearm limit doesn't mean that, you can shoot more people because you've got more guns. No. They just need to have a little bit of common sense and say, look, if you're a farmer, if you're a professional shooter, you can have a semi-automatic centerfire because they make life easier. You can have a suppressor because, hell.
Hearing protection.
It's hearing protection, but also for us, like the camels. I'm sure you've seen where I crapped up on a couple of camels and I'm using the 22 lever action.
Yep.
And because it's quiet, I've just gone tick, 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 tick. Might not have killed them all, but I've smacked them all. And they haven't moved. And then Danny opens up with a 308 and everyone scatters.
Yeah.
So,
and if you had suppressed 308,
we'd be
it buys you some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we actually had it in this consultation where they said there is, and so this was officially from a firearms expert, when they brought up the example of myself. So I'm fairly politically involved, but I wasn't allowed in the conversation. They actually blocked me from being in the consultation process, the meetings with the minister. And they said, no, the guy with the camels, Jack, if he had a suppressor, oh no, it would only affect one or two camels. It won't affect the whole mob. And they said, so therefore suppressors aren't actually going to make any difference to pest control. So, they're not legitimate. They're permanently prohibited item in Western Australia.
Wow.
So I don't know. It's madness. And I'll let you guys go, and then I'll drop the bomb on you about how far they're going to take it.
I don't know how deeply we want to go off on our own political rants. Probably not too deep.
We would sit here for hours.
Literally.
Well, the question I was going to follow up with, is there anything where you think you might get a little bit back anytime soon? But I'm kind of thinking I got the answer for that.
Yeah, and in the video that went live last night, I spoke about it very briefly. I talked to you guys about this genuine need part, but we also have this fit and proper person part of the Firearms Act, which means they decide whether or not you're a good bloke and you can have a firearm.
Yeah.
They've now extended that, and they've put in 2 extra parts where if your values and opinions or your beliefs and opinions do not are not desirable, they can say that you're not a fit and proper person. Now, effectively, that's if you speak out against the government. But the scary part of it is they can use your religion against you. They also they put a thing in there about if you're a member of an organization that they feel is not appropriate, you're not allowed to have a firearm because you're not a fit and proper person. So if you're a member of a union, if you're a member of a shooting club, or we've got the Lake Carnegie Country Club. No, sorry, we don't like you guys. You're not allowed to have guns. And then they've pulled in this really almost Patriot Act spec terrorism one, where if they say we believe you're a threat to society, they can take your firearms off you with no warrant, no justification, and they do not have to provide evidence.
So that's
yeah.
So the equivalent for us, especially the three of us who live in the state of Colorado, that would be a red flag law, where somebody can just go ahead and call the police, and then they'll show up to your door, confiscate all your firearms, and now you're stuck with a giant legal bill and legal process to try and get them back. They don't require any due process, no evidence. It's just, so-and-so doesn't like you, so they can go ahead and screw you over.
Amongst us as shooters in West Australia, we are deeply concerned because occasionally we might go, we went out shooting with Mike, and Mike's a little bit of a loose cannon.
Have you heard the jokes he tells?
But it was...
These are factual things.
He was unsafe with a firearm. He had it loaded. He had his finger inside the trigger, and he lazed the group of us.
These are less factual things.
He said in Minecraft one too many times.
and so then we go, we think he might be a little bit dangerous, and he spouted off about, he'd love to, off the premier or, the governor, that sort of thing. As shooters here in Western Australia, we go to the police and say, hey, look, we've got a problem. Maybe someone should check in on Mike, see how he's doing. Genuinely like a welfare check sort of thing. No, they're not even going to question it. Even if I wrote the letter for Mike to have the firearm, and I go, he's no longer allowed to shoot on my place. They're like, no, you can't. No, you gave permission. You can never take that back. And you go, hang on a second, that's just like consent.
See, here in the
I don't want tea anymore. Well, you're having tea.
Here in the States,
I said no tea.
Here in the States, if somebody starts talking about offing the governor, that's how you know they're being used by the FBI. We found the FBI informant because he's the guy talking about offing governors and doing crazy stuff.
I thought being used by the FBI was the phrase known to the FBI.
I mean, I'm not going there, but sure.
Anyway. We had a situation here where we've had active shooter situation in our region, and I was the one that they called for help. And we've had another one where I'd been asked to search and siege because it's too far away, 300 kilometers from the nearest police, and they go, we need to secure these firearms, so we search and siege, and did that. Every gat was loaded. We're not allowed tasers here in West Australia. The dude had a taser, and I'm just like, right, this is a prohibited weapon. Go down to the cop shop, hand them over. I had to teach the officer how to clear and check safe the firearms, because they don't get firearms training anymore.
Average cop, got it.
And then they're like, this is pretty serious. I'm like, oh no, this is serious. This is 5 years. 2 weeks later, the guy got his guns back. And because he threatened someone and all of this, and you're like, what are you doing? How come the red flag law is going too far, but we should have the ability to say, look, fucking Joe is really not that safe. I don't feel comfortable with him. But it needs to be a gentle one, just a check, just to sort of go, mate, are you okay? Are you ticking along all right? Let's talk about your problems.
I have been through literally hell and back And the last thing that I would have wanted when I was going through hell was a cop showing up at my door saying, "Hey, I'm going to take your guns because I think you're unsafe." My response to that would have been, "Go fuck yourself," and slam the door in his face. Because I'm not playing that game. If somebody showed up at my door and said, we want to talk, we want to check on you, see how you're doing, I welcome them in with open arms. Automatically assuming someone is a threat to society just because they're going through a hard time, it's such nonsense. Like, reach out. It's not even firearms related. Just reach out and talk to the people that you love and you care about and see how they're doing occasionally, because honestly, they're going through a lot more than you really think they are. And I went way deeper down this rabbit hole than I meant to. But...
Yeah, you did.
A little.
Fucking kill the mood.
Dude, it means a lot to me because the attitude of government seems to be people going through a crisis need to be disarmed and right, exactly. But we don't straitjacket people in America anymore. We just kick them under overpasses.
Yeah.
So, what are we supposed to do with so it's frustrating. It's frustrating on a very personal level.
And for us, and I'll put my personal situation. I'm in agriculture. Farming isn't always great. You have bad times. You can be in a drought. Shit's terrible. And they were trying to bring it in that when you've got something like that, they wanted to turn around and just go, "Yeah, sorry, you're not allowed your firearms during that time because you might kill yourself." For a lot of people. And then the next thing is you've got to, bludgeon a camel to death with a hammer.
That seems like that would not be good to your mental state. That might be a little counterproductive, having to go out there and bludgeon camels to death with a hammer.
Can they at least allow you a broadsword so you can do it cleanly?
I'm going to...
Just William Wallace your way through the Outback, like... Kabla! And just hacking at camels.
William
so to
Wallace.
turn this back into a happy situation.
Wait,
I'm not sure if I should say it's happy, but just to lift the mood. Would you like me to list the items I've used to kill a camel before?
Yes.
Well,
and I apologize. I didn't mean to drag it down. I was just saying I think it's bullshit that governments will, kick someone like.
Don't offer you help. Like it's
right.
the cane. It's the cane, and it's not friendly. Like that's
exactly what I was trying to say.
Go. Come on.
I was just going to say that William Wallace.
So what we were talking about before was.
Hey, we're all used to it. There was an episode we did 3 weeks ago where it was just pure chaos, and afterward we were like, "Wow, we did not do a good job letting each other talk, did we?" Anyway.
Yeah, I literally called it out. I was like, "Fuck, dude,
Oh, it was fine.
It wasn't
no,
bad. Mike just got interrupted a few times and was salty about it. That was it.
Lick my ass, Vince.
Well, all I was about to say. Wow. All I'm trying to say is that William Wallace.
I'm not salty. You're salty.
God, Mike, I'm going to kick you in the nuts. William Wallace of the Outback is definitely in the running for a show title. The problem is we got so derailed that it's lost its impact. Anyway, items you've used to kill camels. Please tell me there's a golf club.
Please tell me there's a broadsword.
No, so this goes back to how I always wondered, on the Winchester box for the 22, I'm like, small game. Rabbits are just a problem. They're a pest. Look, it's Australia. We've got rabbits. We fucking kill them with golf clubs for fitness.
I'm into it.
Showtime.
Well, catching.
Kill rabbits with golf clubs for fitness is a great show.
The problem is it's just a bit too long, but we'll figure it out.
I don't care.
So no, we like as children, we weren't allowed to use firearms until we had learnt finality of death, etc., etc. So we had to kill.
Yeah.
So we had to kill. You're not allowed to use guns, so we play field hockey because there's a distinct lack of ice here for us to skate on.
Mm-hmm.
So hockey sticks. A rabbit's head's about the same size as a hockey ball, so you get really good with your arm. And bunny bashing. Like we had them in plague numbers. They went to chemical, biological warfare for rabbits here. I distinctly remember seeing a lot of explosives used on rabbits back when Australia was cool. And so, not
when
shy.
Australia was cool, nice.
Not shy of when we had to use different things, but I've run into a few situations where I've gotten low on ammunition, and it's not ideal. Like but one of them I was flying, like checking my water points, and I pulled out my Remington 7600, and I only was carrying 60 rounds with me. And I got to a point and I dropped 47 or something camels and a couple of donkeys. And I was like, fuck, I've only got 2 rounds left. And there's a donkey staring at me. And I'm like, oh, well, you're gone. Just whack it. And it's just sat there staring at me. I'm like, the fuck? All right. Whacked it again next to the same, same hole, and it's like a 1/2-inch hose of blood coming out of this thing's head. And I'm like, I'm out of ammo. So I fold my stock down, throw it over my shoulder, and I'm like, what is this thing? And all I've got is my knife. Like I've got my folder knife and my Leatherman. And I walk up to this donkey and I'm like, nah, you're gone. Like just pushed it. And it was living dead. It was like it was dead, but it was standing upright.
Jesus.
As this donkey's fallen over, I'm like, oh shit. There's a camel there. And the camel woke up, and it was a young camel, not too big, but I had to seize my opportunity. And it was under the tree, so I'm like, well, can't let it get away. Dashed over, jumped on top of this camel like you're about to ride it, and pulled the knife out. I'm like, yep, cool. Just pulled its head down and it was pretty quick. Just 2 to the back of the head, like at the base of the skull there, and the camel was done. Wow. So, knife is on the list.
So would you say that was a knife kill?
That was a knife kill. But it wasn't a stealth knife kill. That was a really bad knife kill.
So you didn't get a kill cam on that one, or the camel kill cam.
Cam. No. So same year, probably a day or 2 later, my wife and I are shooting camels with our 1-year-old daughter at the time, and I'm using the 7600 again, and I've just gone through 60 or 70 camels, and Jasmine's whacked a few as well, and I've ended up on the other side of this field. And I say field, but it's like it's not a paddock, like it's not fenced off or anything. It's just I'd describe it as a field. It's like 400 acres, and I'm up on the other side of it, and I'm just running so low on ammo, and I've had to screw my muzzle brake back on because it got that hot that the muzzle brake started to loosen itself and unthread. So got her back on and walking through, doing my clearances, and then get up to this camera and go click. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm out of ammo. Check my pockets, nothing left. I'm like, oh, this is just rooted. Like, there's this, poor camel. He's been whacked through the chest and he's not dead. Look around, see what I've got. There's a big rock.
Oh, no.
So,
I knew rock would be on there somewhere.
Yeah, I might have said something in a different language that we shouldn't repeat, but it got biblical.
What language was it? I'm curious.
How many Ugga Duggas did it take to dispatch the camels?
Surprisingly low. It was only 3. Actually, sorry, I'd say describe it more like the opening scene of 2001: Space Odyssey. When, so then, yeah, start out with a good rock. Bit, if I put it, do you want it in kilos or pounds?
I mean,
We get kilos. It's fine.
Yeah, almost like 2.5 to 3 kilos of
Okay.
rock,
Oh,
and just again, not having a skull here to show you, but at the back of the skull, just above the eye socket, is a spot that you can.
Yeah.
So
like a 7.
I think most of our
rock
cervids
right in the eye
are.
socket.
yeah. So we've got knife, we've got rock. Didn't use paper. I didn't write a report to bore them to death. Steel pipe.
Opportunity to bore a camel to death with a PowerPoint presentation lost.
Yeah.
There's always more to practice on.
So no, I had set my iPhone, and the video's gone now, but I put my iPhone on the dash of the truck, and I'm talking like a semi truck, and
A real
kind
truck.
of funny.
Shut up, Dave.
Kind of funny to watch the video, but I had run really low on ammo. So in this vehicle, I didn't have much ammo, and I was driving to another vehicle, which was my shooting rig, which had, a good few hundred rounds in it. I run out of ammo, and so then you just see me running across the screen with a steel pipe.
That'll do.
So the steel pipe, and then back to your Excalibur, William Wallacing. Now, here in Australia, you don't need a license to get a sword or a machete.
Small blessings.
Yes, small blessings.
Right.
We're not allowed, limited on what type of knives are allowed. But yes, a machete has been used. Again, out of ammunition. And I'm not talking I've gone out with 40 or 50 rounds. No, I've got 500 rounds. I've run out. And then the last thing I've got is this machete. And so, I've used the hammer a number of times. But machete, and just, go to slice the throat. But, when they're not all the way, you don't want to get that close with your field-eating knife. Because I've been disarmed by a camel before.
Like I said, Australia lost the emu war.
But we're not going to lose the camel war.
He got disarmed by a camel. I'm not so sure.
I wasn't going to make the joke, but I'll make it now, I suppose, which was, after the Great Emu War, did you decide to pick a softer target?
Well, one of the guys was watching the live stream the other day where it was the water point and there were camels walking around, and he said, I'm not shitting you, man. As soon as the emus showed up, the camels just fucked off. They were gone. Do they have what's the go? Why are the camels scared of the emus? And I just said, no. They've heard about the reputation. The emus won. The camels also really dislike anything that's got a longer neck to body ratio than they do.
Mm-hmm.
It offends them.
Your neck's longer than mine. And I took that personally.
So, did we cover the kind of damage that camels do, like
I don't
ecologically?
believe so. Not yet. Like, you mentioned why they die, but you haven't mentioned
Why?
what
Like,
they
I get
die
there's
for.
no
Why?
natural predators, and they are not a predator, so they eat off the land and they, take up resources. But what kind of damage do they do? Like, what are they destroying?
Look, if you look at the economic impact, so this is why ammunition is cheap. One camel can easily do an amount of damage that will kill multiple cows. And so, each cow's worth $2,000, that sort of thing, because they can produce. So
Okay.
that's why economically it makes sense to kill the camels. But ecologically, the camels will eat somewhere around 86% of what the cows can. So that means they've got a wider range. They can eat a lot more of the country. In some ways, that's actually better for the country because they're wider grazing. That means they don't pick out ice cream and only eat that. But it comes down to the water. The camels need a lot of water. Everyone goes, oh, yeah, no, the camels, they can go without water for 10 days. No, that's a fucking myth. It takes a lot of training, just like us, like for fitness and everything. If you go, yeah, I can run 10 miles, that's fine, cool. You didn't get to running 10 miles just by being born. No, it's taken time and training to get to that level. Same with the camels. So a wild camel isn't, that holy grail of achievement in, water retention and use. So they've got that impact, but also they graze a bunch, they drink a lot of water, they fuck with our shit, and they only have to damage a small amount of infrastructure to potentially kill hundreds of cattle. And
yeah, if they screw up one of their watering holes.
That's such a fine line too. I mean, Jesus.
I have a question on this. And this is more of a devil's advocate question than I actually believe this deep inside me.
No, I like these.
And you've probably actually been asked this question before, so you probably have a solid answer. If the camels are causing such issues and ruining everything for the cattle, and the camels don't taste any different than cows, why not just harvest camels that
become a camel rancher?
Right. Like, fuck the cows.
Yeah, no. Fuck it.
Go with what you got, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
get rid of another way.
No, fuck it. The camels, hell. I've got a million acre station. Nah, fuck it. I've got an 80 million acre station because all of the camels are out there. I don't have to care about their water. I just have to worry about it when they get dry. They come in. I don't have to worry about the breeding. They just come in. Awesome, happy days. Like, I'm shooting more camels a year than I'm taking cattle off the property. Like, if I got the same sort of money as I did for the camels, it's a no-brainer. Hell, economically, shit, yeah.
Cattle of the Outback.
Wicked. Yeah.
Outback camel.
Two things: dressed weight and logistics. So the dressed weight of the camel, and you guys weren't lucky enough to see the video. I only popped it up about an hour before we went live, and I cut off around 13 kilos of fat from a camel to get around 1.5 kilos of meat.
Jesus.
Now, a camel has not been domestically farmed. Like, us as Europeans, we've domestically farmed beef and cows for 10,000 years to maximize the production of the animal for the things that we want. And we want the protein, we want the red meat. The camel was only ever bred and managed as a logistics animal. It's like comparing a Mustang to a 18-wheeler. One of them is, all about performance and fuel efficiency. So, yeah, Mustang is actually really good on fuel efficiency for how far it can travel and how fast it can get there. Whereas your 18-wheeler, slow and steady, and built like a truck, and it will get there in the end. Now, that's a
carry
hauler.
A lot of shit doing it.
Yeah. And so
I was so lost for a second because I was thinking like the actual horse Mustang,
yeah,
running around in the American West, and an 18-wheeler. I'm like, where's he going with this?
Vince drives a Chevy. He doesn't understand Ford.
I was struggling to work out what I could transfer it to. I was gonna be like Hyundai XL or something, but
Well, one of them was made to eat. The other one was made to haul crap along the Silk Road and in the desert.
One was made to eat. The other was made to
not made, but bread.
Yeah. Although ours, like our camels are the dromedary, so one humps, all those single lady humps, and ours are the.
Shut up! You fucking freaks!
Our ones are actually from North America, a long way back. They're from
I
North
know.
America. And then the ones that we've got here are actually from the Canary Islands. So
Huh.
we might sit there and just blame the Arabs, but no, it's the Spanish.
Damn Spaniards.
Honestly, the Spaniards are responsible for a lot more than we blame them for.
They're pretty bad, like, you
Yeah.
know, throughout history. A lot of slavery.
No wonder they tried to
colonialism.
remain neutral throughout the entirety of the 1900s.
I
No
don't
one
know.
is
They
happier
weren't
that
exactly
they got
that
beat.
neutral. They were pretty fascist.
They did have Iberian ham, and that just makes up for everything.
No one's
They do make
happier
good
in
wine.
world history that they got beat
True.
by the English than the Spanish. They we got
Spanish
out of
did.
this at the perfect time.
So I read a great joke on the internet, and there was a
Excellent
it was
joke.
honestly, I remember it greatly. So it was a bunch of Spanish people at the Battle of Trafalgar or something like that, and this British tour guide was talking about it, and the Spanish lady was like, "Oh, are these the real cannonballs from the battle?" And the British lady was like, "No, your Navy still has those."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although,
I didn't say it to be funny. It was just a funny anecdote. Leave me
No,
alone.
you
called
said it
it
was
a
a great
joke.
You said it was a great joke.
You're a liar.
Jack, please step
I'm
in
also-
and save Mike.
No,
Okay.
we don't need to save Mike. Mike just doesn't give a
No.
fuck, so it's fine. No
he's
saving
fine.
needed.
He's sorted. So, have you ever read Sharp's Rifles?
Yes.
Fucking awesome.
Mhm.
So much fun. Unbelievable. Completely unbelievable. But I still just, I run with the audiobooks. So it's always Sean Bean to me as Richard Sharp.
Nice.
So that to me is a lot of my Spanish history.
You know what? You can get worse. You can do worse than Sean Bean when it comes to Spanish history.
Yeah. At least he doesn't die.
Oh, speaking of history, what do you think of the movie Quickly Down Under?
Oh,
Is it historically accurate?
Sorry, what? Down Under?
You've never heard of Quickly Down Under?
Have you seen Kangaroo Jack?
Yes.
Actually, I've heard of Kangaroo Jack. To be fair,
That's a documentary, man.
Quigley Down Under is an older. It's like a western from the '90s where Tom Selleck goes down, is hired by Alan Rickman, I think.
Yes.
Yes,
Jesus.
that is.
Yeah.
I've only seen this movie once. It was pretty okay.
They're fucking dingoes, man.
Okay, so
Stole my baby, man.
find the remove button for Mike because he said it was only okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
And
Alright.
if we needed any more proof that Sam has too much power,
oh, no such thing. All right, well, I want to move on to a different topic real quick. Actually, first of all, Jack,
Ow.
what is your
Ow.
what's your time limit on everything right now?
I
You guys still
have,
good to go for a bit, or are we running?
I've
running
just
your
cracked
wagon?
into a Sydney cider.
Okay, good. I heard a
And
crack.
I've got
but I
another
didn't see
couple of
whose
them.
it was.
so
Well,
when you
no,
start
if
sounding
you
like me,
go
it's
to
probably
bed-
time to wrap it up.
So
Mike,
at
if
least
you need to
4
go to
more
bed,
minutes.
you can't.
Okay.
4 more
Tell you
minutes.
what, it's a bit of it's a stark change from the beer to the cider.
So it can be, yeah. That's okay. I ran out of beer and I am down to only vodka, and this is perfectly fine with me.
I thought that was a Japanese whiskey.
No, it's
Sam's
Reka.
not that cool.
It's Reka, which is Icelandic vodka, and it's probably the best. This is the one. So I like vodka. Oddly enough, people think I'm weird. Mostly I like it at ice cold temperature though, but this stuff at room temperature is like smooth.
Sam drinks
Sam's not
White
cool
Monster
enough
and vodka.
to like Japanese whiskey.
Shut up,
Listen,
Mike.
Sam's
so-
not cool enough to like
I'm-
Japanese anything.
I'm scared of Sam just I mean, your room temperature is probably I've got my air conditioner set to 22 Celsius. So
Good lord.
I can't.
My
When I lived in
do that.
Japan, I had mine to set
That is
to
a
18,
number.
and that was not cold enough.
yeah, so it's 71 Fahrenheit here. In my
22,
aircon.
71.
Yeah, my
So outside it is currently 107.
Damn.
So it's probably about 20 degrees Celsius in the basement right now.
What latitude are you at near
I
about?
want a basement. I'm negative 26.
26.
So, I'm like 122, negative 26.
How
That
close
is,
is that to the tropic?
I'm like 250k south of the tropic, or 200k south of the tropic.
So some of us are about to go grab our child's globes and figure out where everything's at right now because we don't remember our geography that well.
I'm working on it.
Anyway,
I have a basic idea based on the tropic.
Because we've got like the. No, sorry, I'm 22. Yeah, and I'm 22, and you've got 26 as the tropic.
Yeah.
fair enough.
We used to have a
That-
thing here, like if you had a vehicle and it went over the 26th parallel, and we actually have it on the roads and highways.
Chris W
And-
says, Dave, I found it in the
I
comments.
work with him.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
That-
Like found the
What?
stream. That's cool. Okay, so before I lose track and forget this stuff,
Chris.
Yeah, go.
I would
go.
first like to say your
Good
beat up piece of shit Hilux is exactly my speed. I
That's
wish
a
I had that.
Toyota Land Cruiser.
Okay, fair enough.
Hiluxes aren't that tough.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I didn't look that close. I'm also not that big of a car person, but that thing is exactly my speed. I love it. I really want one. And then secondly, on your like your banner on the intro to your YouTube videos where it looks like an off-road moped, what is that? Because I
It's a
want one.
Postie bike.
What is
It's
it?
a Postie bike. So that's like a electric fuel injected 110cc motorbike, Honda.
Sweet.
So we have this thing which is the CT110.
Oh,
And-
yep, I see it right there.
So you got the CT110, which is the carbureted version, and then you have the MBC 110, which is the EFI. Now, my brothers and my two brothers, myself, my cousin, and a couple of mates went, we're going to do the Postie run. And we have this thing in Australia where it's like the Postie Bike Challenge, where it's like a 3,000 kilometer or, a few hundred kilometer challenge on these little motorbikes up like the Canning Stock Route, the Ord River Track, Gibb River Road, all of these really off-road, out-of-the-way things. And we went, well, why don't we do Postie bikes on like Posties to Prenti? Originally, we were planning on doing it like remapping our 2012 trip was from Esperance through Norseman, through all these backtracks, and then ending up at Prenti Downs and then going north and fucking about.
Mhm.
And then we decided, well, might be a bit of a big mission. So we'll just haul the vehicles up to Prenti and then we'll just cut bush. We'll just go, fuck it, we're on the edge, we're going to go east until we hit a road.
Yeah.
And being up here, we'd scouted a few times with the plane. We'd mapped a couple of tracks and stuff with the motorbikes and the airplane. And then we split it up. That 3 of us got the EFI model, 3 of us got the carbureted model. And just imagine us, like all of us, and then you've got your dad and your mate's dad as the support crew. And you're on these dinky little motorbikes going, fuck it, we're going to cut across the desert out until we find something. And we are only going to take ingredients. We're taking fuel and ingredients and guns.
You had my interest now, or you had my attention. Now you have my interest, or however the hell that goes.
So we jump on these motorbikes and you're bouncing around like fuck. Like it's rough. Dad's effectively sitting back in his Nissan Patrol, drinking a coffee, laughing at these 6 dudes in front of him, bouncing around on little motorbikes, just getting thrashed. And our motivation is we want to eat something tonight. So we've got to find something to kill. So we get up on this ridge. We're looking about 1 kilometer down. I pull out my Enfield. I have a look through the rifle. I'm like, we got camels down there. It's about 1.6 miles down to target. And we're like, fuck it, let's do it. And we're going through bush down this rocky rocky ridge, trees everywhere, jumping out with we didn't even take a Milwaukee saw with us. So we're getting there, breaking branches and stuff to be able to get this vehicle down. And we're going through on our bikes, get down to this clay pan, and everyone's like, oh, fuck off. You no way you saw those bloody camels. And we've got 15 camels. So then we're on little bikes looking like we're full on tally spec and rifles over our shoulders on our little ning-nings.
Tally spec does that mean what I think it means?
Yeah.
Because I've been to Trash Canistan twice.
Yeah. full
okay,
tally
just
spec.
Okay,
just
I get
checking.
it now. I get it now. I was lost, but now I'm back. I get.
Oh wait, that should be a toast. That should be a show title option. Tally spec.
Tally spec's great, but all right, had to clear that up. Continue, Jack, please.
So roll in hot on these guys, pop our bikes, and then just start laying into them. And we've engaged them, taken out a few of them, and we've split the other guys and we put them into the bush line to create an ambush. And George and I, my brother, and we've got it's almost a mile. It'd be like 0.8 of a mile across this clay pan. So there's nothing. Like it is just like a salt lake, world's fastest Indian sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He and I have just slung our rifles and gunned it to round up these camels. And so he's on his carbureted one, which looks very tally, like you would have seen them over there. And we've rounded up these camels as if we're mustering cattle or something and pushed them. And we're just cruising along at 30k an hour behind them. And I'm just like, this is funny as shit, taking photos of my brother just with his rifle on it, and he's on his bike. You got the red thing, you got his scarf out the back, and there's a mob of camels in front of him. And so then we round them up and drove them in onto the guns. And we got them in, and we're in radio comms with the rest of the team. And then we just split, and we're just like, yep, clear to go. And as soon as we split, the guys went dun, 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 and the rest of the camels dropped. Happy. We're going to eat tonight. We're sorted. Just chopping up these camels and just hanging them literally in the trees, just cutting the back straps and stuff out of these camels, putting them on spiky bloody branches, so the meat hangs overnight, and demolish quite a few beers and a reasonable amount of whiskey. And we continued this trip. We sustained ourselves off one shoot of camels for almost a week.
That's awesome.
So I'm imagining when you're talking about riding across that clay pan is the various pictures I've seen of dudes riding little motorbikes around Afghanistan and Syria with one guy in the back with an AK or an RPG and the other guy just gunning it with his This sounds like an awesome time. I'm jealous.
Yeah, it just looks like that. We occasionally joke. It's like, oh, it's just another day in Afghanistan.
How does the government of Australia feel about the use of RPGs upon camels?
The government probably has an official response to this. But I reckon it would be so interesting to try an airburst on them.
Well, that's like the guys who bury, or they don't even bury it. They'll put 10 pounds of tannerite on a feral hog feed here and just evaporate the hogs.
Wait for 50 hogs to come up on the feed and just detonate it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I couldn't believe it. Someone only today just worked out because I had a photo that I put up, and the yards had been fucked by some camels.
Yep.
And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to improvise something. And only one, Jasmine picked it up straight away, but then someone turned around and they've gone, oh, are you going to Are we talking about making a camel more? Because, but we've joked about the idea of, okay, we're not allowed them.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way: it is something that we speak only of in theory.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Yes, in Minecraft. Attaching to the front of one of our vehicles 3 claymores.
This will be fine.
Go.
Having the rocker, and as you come up behind the camels, you clicky.
Yeah.
And it's just the same as using a shotgun, basically.
Basically.
Yeah. In Minecraft.
Multiple
In Minecraft.
projectiles for one pull of the trigger. It's a shotgun per definition. Good to go.
Yeah.
In Minecraft.
It's a
butcher
single
it
shot
and
too.
kill
That
it
should
in
be.
the same button.
Mike,
This
shut
is
up.
Great.
It's a single
Vince.
shot. That should be legal, right?
Yeah.
Should be, yeah. But under definition, and it's, yeah, no caliber.
So
Stop trying to
Vince,
silence me, Dave.
Vince, I saw you had your finger up earlier.
I don't remember.
What it had to do with the Enfield? I bet it had to do with the
I don't.
Enfield.
Oh,
I'm curious about the Enfield.
Hey,
I'm
Sam,
very curious about the Enfield.
I got very curious, like watching Danny run that thing. It looks like the most redneck setup you could imagine for somebody just trying to eliminate vermin. That what is that thing even chambered in at this point?
It looks
I know,
like
so-
you're so
go.
go ahead, Jack.
No, go, Mike. Go.
I was just gonna say it looks like you're doing the absolute best you can with what you got, and you're running it the absolute best you can.
That was not a dig. It was just like
Yeah,
No. Go for it.
endless
And,
curiosity.
so to explain this, I used to have a Remington 700.
Yep.
Mike, you know
Okay.
how good they are.
yes, I do. I love Remington 700s.
They are a very, very good platform, and they are a 7.62 that's stamped as a 308.
Yep.
When people blueprint them, they become a 308
Mhm.
because there is a massive difference between them.
Mhm.
Between the 7.62 and the 308. Like, you know, big difference.
Same as
but
the
not a
difference
big
between
difference.
5.56 and 2.23.
Yeah. Basically, if you ran your 223 through your 5.56, you're going to clean it more. Bigger problems with the 7.62 versus the 308. So I wore out my Remington 700.
Damn.
Jeez.
That's an accomplishment.
Now, I
Yes.
actually realized that I never answered. I've done it. I'm just about ready for
Damn.
politics. I never answered your question, and I'll wait until you realize what question it was that I didn't answer.
How many Campbells?
Yeah.
I've been waiting all night.
You haven't answered a lot of questions.
I'm just priming myself for politics to not answer anything with giving him a story. We only learn from the best, don't we? Yeah, so no, the number of horses is a bit over 4,000. The number of donkeys is over 600, and camels is over 10,000.
God damn.
Speaking
So
of
just
horses,
Yeah,
we have a wild horse problem in the state of Nevada, and I really wish we could go there and wipe them out. This has nothing to do where we can just leave it at that. But yeah, anyway,
That'd be neat.
Yeah.
I want to get wild horses and eat them personally. But moving on.
Horse sushi is food.
yeah, horses are a bit overrated. Donkey also as well. Although the first time I ate biltong over in Africa was donkey, so
I mean,
I meant to ask earlier, what is biltong? I have not heard of this before.
it's just a dried meat.
Okay.
Google is your friend.
Spiced and dried meat. Tell you what, you would love it, and then you'll be like, fuck, man, jerky's a waste of time.
I don't honestly like jerky.
See, you'll love biltong.
He's
All
a
right.
little pursy for jerky. It doesn't suit his Japanese culinary tastes.
God damn it, you motherfucker.
Oh, look, it's whale jerky. Oh, dolphin jerky, my favorite.
Hey, it was for scientific research.
Yeah, do they taste the same this year as they did last year?
Then we know the population's healthy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was a population survey.
fuck you, man.
Fuck you,
Well, it makes me
dolphin!
We quite often joke about the whole native species and endangered species, and we go, well, all you have to do is a Rothschild survey, and the Rothschild survey is you send out a group of hunters to go shoot and document everything that they killed, if it's endangered or not.
Yeah.
Can I be one of those?
Endangered species.
You could be an endangered species. That's fine.
I mean, you told us that you had a dark place, but I didn't know that you were
Damn.
that far. Like,
I mean, I was. I'm not anymore. But damn, I was gonna go out and kill everything.
oh, sorry. I thought
I
you
didn't want to
wanted
be killed.
Be killed. Yeah.
No.
Oh, anyway, what the hell did we leave off on?
I don't know.
This went to a
He
darker
mentioned
place
something
than
about a
I
serious.
meant to.
He mentioned something about a serious political question. If we can remember,
Somehow,
I don't
it
remember.
always
what
gets
No,
back to
it was
Mike
about
killing
the
himself.
Enfield. So yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
Minecraft himself. Yeah.
Essentially, I want to clone your Enfield only because it looks so redneck and jank, and I absolutely love it.
There's so many funny things about that rifle that people pull the piss out of, and there's a technique behind it. But the Remington 700 got worn out, and I burnt the barrel out to the point there was no rifling left. And
Jesus.
they put a new barrel in it. They rechambered it. It was too tight for the PPU ammunition, and I was like, "Fuck this!" Like, I'm fed up. So I just ran with my 223 and just kept on using that. And then I was on the hunt for a new 308, and I was like, "Oh, a Scout rifle would be great." So a Ruger Scout or a Ruger American, like something like that, would be ideal. Something that took accuracy international magazines would be good, but we face this thing over here called appearance laws, which are bullshit and almost negligible now. But yeah, I did some hunting, and I was like, well, I know that the Enfield is the fastest bolt action in production. Like, you know, it is one of the quickest ones. So I bought an Australian-made remake of a Enfield, but it was in 7.62 NATO, and it took M14 magazines. And I was like, well, shit, yeah, I don't have a magazine limit here. But, you know, I can throw a 20-round mag in this. I'll just grab myself some 20-rounder M14s and just go nuts with it. The gun was good for the first probably 3,000 rounds.
Uh-huh.
I bought it secondhand because they'd stopped making them. And, yeah, no, I'd put... By the time I started filming stuff for YouTube, so there's the helicopter stuff, which I've got to put up. And that's, you know, I've only ever used some short bits of it, but we were talking about, oh, we don't want to be a blood sport channel, but there's me just flying around in a helicopter and just waxing a bunch of horses, dogs, and camels.
Sounds fucking
We're
amazing.
we don't want to be a blood sport channel, but how else can we classify this?
Yeah. So
Blood
with a,
sport.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from my perspective, like they closed a local wildlife management area recently because we're eliminating hogs via helicopter, and I'm like, where do I sign up for this?
Mhm.
And you're down under just murdering camels from a helicopter, like
It's my
because you
dream.
have to.
You're burning barrels out of rifles, killing camels. Like, okay, I have two serious
is my
questions.
envy.
One,
That's what it is. We're talking about an Enfield, Mike. Stop it.
okay, you're right. I'll save my serious questions
What do
for
you
after
think
the
about
Enfield. I apologize.
The sour.
Shut up, Dave.
In case you couldn't tell, you have not found people who are. You have found 4 jealous individuals.
Dude, I would
Oh, yeah.
fly
do you
down
think
there
I'm
in a
not jealous? I
heartbeat.
mean, fuck, Sam. I'm looking up behind you and just going,
Oh, I know, but
Dude.
it's just more of a matter of like when Dave's like, "Oh, this guy just runs out of his house and kills camels." We're like, they're feral, so they're a problem. So there's no like, there's no moral downside to this. Like, they're feral, they're a problem. Kill
No,
them.
the worst one is you wake up, you go for a fucking walk, and you see that within 250 meters, the bastards have come past your house, and you're like, "Come on, this is a joke.
They snuck by
You're
them
some brave
overnight.
camels."
So that's
So-
where the claymores come in.
That's where the claymores come in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rude
But
Like
way.
you
they're
wake
not
up in the
allowed-
middle of the night, boom.
Yeah, we're not allowed to use tripwires. We have to be remote
Oh,
detonated.
Here you go.
Vince
This is
is
my
flecking.
only flex. This is my
Yeah.
only flex that I have, and it's very small. Look at it. That's it.
Well,
So what
With
is
that
in
haircut,
centimeters?
that is the only flex you've got.
what is
Yeah.
that in centimeters? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Never
Right,
mind.
got one back. It's about fucking time.
About that long.
Were you trying to do an Australian accent? That was pretty good.
No.
they've been
I've been
practicing.
listening to one of my favorite authors has written a zombie series, and some of the main characters are Australian, so I've been listening to it recently, and I didn't even mean to
No, I'm
do it.
surprised more people haven't been doing an Australian accent tonight.
These guys have been
That sounds
practicing.
English.
That's what
Oh,
I
that's
said.
Shit.
They've been practicing their Australian accents for weeks, and every time they do it, they just sound various levels of like English. It's like
Yeah,
that's not
no,
Australian.
Australians not
what-
going to be like, "Oh shit, brother."
When I think English, I think Cockney, so I guess whatever.
All right, bruv, where are we going then?
All right. Can we not
Oh,
do
I-
the Dick Van Dyke? Because good God.
Once I got so fucking drunk, donkey stole me yarbles.
And once she got so fucking drunk, the donkey had its way with you.
Only in Iraq.
So, does that Enfield? You said it quit working after a while. It started having trouble. Is that what happened?
Yeah, no. So I'm gonna say, she got flogged. It's so one of the issues with the Enfield action is the head spacing, and so even with a 303 on that front head lug of the bolt, that you actually have to you can change the lugs out, screw them in, and change where it is. So infield in action, what you can do is screw it out so you can actually keep cycling and functioning. And then if you were serious, you would go to the armourer, you get a washer, put the washer in to adjust your head spacing for it, because the bolt actually starts to stretch. So amongst the issues that I had with my Remington, I actually stretched the bolt because of the heating, cooling.
Ooh.
So then the Enfield, she performed fucking well for a few thousand rounds. Like, you know, we sort of measure it by box, and we're like, oh, that's another 500. Cool, she's done that. Let's go to the next one. Yep. Most of our rifles that we use are only rated for 10,000 rounds. If we're honest, like, you got to do some serious work to them. And that's civilian supporting rifles. Mike, you'd know, like with a mill kit, like we just keep using, because they're not actually designed for accuracy, they're designed for rounds down range.
Mm-hmm.
And this Enfield, she's done a pretty bloody good job, but everyone, and when we really started getting to the YouTube side of it, I started to take a few notes from the mainstream media and fuck around, because if they're going to play the game, we'll play the game. Nothing gets engagement like controversy. No one loves anything more than nitpicking about something.
Mm-hmm.
And particularly about a subject that no one really knows anything about, and that's shooting camels. Now, the electrical tape that people go is holding his rifle together is because
I admit that was my next question.
I hate rattles.
Yeah.
Rattles
Okay.
and noise. Mike, I'm not sure how you guys are on noise discipline, but
I was Air Force, dude. We had reflective belts on the flight line. Like, we're wearing camouflage in a war zone, but we have giant reflective belts in case snipers want to take a pot shot at us. Like, fucking retarded.
So
Hunting where I do,
pain in the ass.
Anything that squeaks gets taped down.
I
So-
hate noise now, but I know what you mean. Like,
So
I
that's
drive
my
a-
sling swivel down the front there, and it makes this tiny little. It's almost like this.
that tiny little squeaky rattle
This.
thing.
Just this.
Oh,
When
Yeah.
I'm shooting, I fucking hate it. So, sparky tape, just wrap the shit out of it, and that was.
That'll do.
I did not enjoy that you doing that noise. I will just have to admit that I really did.
Well,
not
imagine
enjoy
that with
noise.
your bloody ear pro on, and you've got it enhanced, and you've got everything.
I don't even have it that loud. I don't like noise either. Like,
So,
that
You wanna
was
hear
nails on a
something fun?
chalkboard for me. Moving on.
you want to hear something fun?
the electrical tape is what you missed, Sam.
Are you gonna make
that's
me
fine.
cringe even harder?
I just ran upstairs and found my wife watching the show live. So,
Nice.
yeah, that's fun.
One of
That
7
is actually
viewers.
fun.
Yay!
So apparently, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Wit.
Anyway,
Never seen
I'm
you
gonna
in
go-
person, but hi.
Yenzen1 has a question. Have you ever thought of putting a tracker on an adult camel to see where they go and if it's an accumulative direction and muster point, for want of a better term?
Right. I'm
Hey,
gonna
Judas
go
camel.
take a piss, and I'll be back.
Judas
Show title?
We have too many show titles.
No, we
Oh,
don't.
no, we don't.
We have
Uh,
too many to pick from.
well, he's gonna have to wait for Jack to get back.
Like, honestly, back when Australia was cool was my favorite so far. Jack out the back has to Jack come back.
So at some point, we're going to have to end this. That's actually kind of a depressing thought.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I think that we could definitely make a whole nother show sometime.
Yeah.
A part
Yeah.
2.
We
The
just
trophies are whining in the background.
We just split. I think he's got kids, dude.
And it's like the middle of the day. I think it's lunchtime. I think you might have to feed them at some
Yeah,
point.
it's like
Oh,
2
I thought
o'clock there.
it was one of you
No.
guys, not
Mike
yeah.
was
Yes, I was.
today years old when he learned that Australia is in a completely different time zone.
actually
Listen
we're
here,
talking
motherfucker.
to
They're literally only an hour off from Japan.
we are talking to Jack, and he's in the future.
Of course, you would know it's only
He
an hour
is in
off
the
from
future.
Japan. Of all the people
Mike,
who
are you-
know what time it is in Japan right now, it'd be you.
I don't know what time it is in Japan right this second, but considering he said we were going to start at noon his time, and that was 9 p.m., it is now probably 2:20.
Did you go ask the soul, the Japanese woman stuck in your car, what time it is?
No, I didn't have to go down to ask the soul of the Japanese woman in my truck what time it is.
Is it just one Japanese woman, or is it like a conglomeration of Japanese women? that
I'm
are
not
stuck
really
in the
sure.
soul of your car?
It seems like it's the same Japanese woman every time I get in there that asks me to put the toll card in, but I'm not. It never seems to change. So if it becomes a different Japanese woman at some point in the future, I'll let you know.
Okay, good.
You'd think
And
they'd be
also,
more
I'll
demanding
be-
of him.
You would think, but
They just want to be
they're
let out.
tolerant of me.
He's definitely really expressing a lot of what his search history on some websites would be.
Well, he has this little Japanese Land Cruiser thing that has like the soul of at least one woman trapped in it, who, when you start the car, speaks to you and begs to be freed from her eternal imprisonment. So it's kind of
Is
creepy.
yours
Jack,
a
I have a
left-hand drive
Prado.
or
You know what a
right-hand
Prado is.
He's
Oh,
It's a
right-hand
right-hand drive.
I have found out. I found out
I
two
bought a
nights ago-
Prado from an importer in California, and it's straight out of Tokyo.
I found out
And
two
it
nights
came with a toll reader that yells at you in Japanese to put a toll card in, which is fucking hilarious.
So okay, yeah, imports for us is interesting, but yeah, you got a full-on right-hand drive.
Yeah.
He has 2
Yeah.
of them.
and
Yeah.
Now you know
I
what
have a
it's like to have
Skyline
the
also.
indicators on the right side of the
I do.
vehicle. And then
My wife and I, when we lived in Japan, we played this game called Damn It, where you go to signal and accidentally hit the wipers instead.
There's,
we
there's-
actually call it Euro side, not American side, when we've got the indicators on the wrong side of things.
that's
Nice.
I don't like that. That's like
I feel insulted.
okay,
When
so we
when
have
I
the
first
question.
moved to Japan, my favorite game was romping on the gas and going to shift my car after slamming on the clutch and then slamming my hand into the door. And then, about 6 months later, I came back to the States for my little brother's wedding, and I picked my car up from my dad's house, got onto the highway, romped on the gas, slammed on the clutch to shift gears, and slapped the door.
So Mike finally got used to using his left hand. Okay, there we go.
And that's why he doesn't have tennis elbow.
So we had the question about cumulative direction and Judas camels.
Yeah. So Judas camels. The best story I have about the Judas camels is catching up with a couple of my mates, and we're having a few beers as we would. And they send the children to get me another drink. And
Before.
Mine's asleep. Damn it.
And the guys go, yeah, nah, we're out shooting, and there's this camel with this fucking funny thing on his neck, so we fucking shot him first.
Oh God.
And we went up to it, and we're like, the fuck is this thing? Oh, it's got a fucking cable and collar on it.
It's a camel.
We just, we cut the backstraps off and we fucked off. And I was like, oh no, guys, you should have researched camel. Like,
oh shit.
And so, Judas camels are a real legit thing. And it was a program back a couple of years, and what they were doing is they'd catch a camel, they would put a collar on him to be able to track him down. So then you just release him, and he'd go out, and so a bull camel will track another mob, and this is how we track camel as well. But we find a bull camel, and we're like, oh yeah, he's not that far. Like you could be 2 or 3 kilometers from a mob itself, and then you would go down and track the mob down and shoot them. But what you do with the Judas donkey or Judas camel is you use them to locate where the mob is, and you shoot everyone but him. And we actually, as a joke, started going, imagine what the psychological impact on that donkey or camel is. Because...
God damn.
Gets new friends. People show up, murder all of his new friends.
He shows up and he's like, "Oh, g'day guys, how you going? You guys want to be my friend?" Like, yeah, mate. How you going? Yeah, just run with us. You'll be fine. You'll be safe. And he's like, "Yeah. No, this is pretty fucking cool." And then helicopter slams in over the Outback. Waka 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 waka. Bang! Everyone's dead, and he's
just a bloodbath.
Death just follows me.
Yeah. Just think about the poor camel with PTSD.
By the end, he's yelling
It's
at
like
other
the-
camels, "Stay away!"
You have no
It's like
idea what
it's
I
literally
Don't
like the
come near
American
me.
movies that are always like, everybody that gets close to me dies. Stay away from me.
Only it's true.
Yeah.
So maybe that is the answer to the person that sent me the question about, all my close loved ones and family are going to die. Like, maybe he's trying to put a collar on me.
Maybe that
Can
was a
you
camel.
imagine, like, as a human, seeing that camel and just like a herd of camels approaches this one single lone bull camel, and as they approach, he's like, "Nope, fucking stay away from me," and he runs the fuck off.
Well, it's really bad, but we used to always shoot the different one. And I can see how the guys did it. Because they're just like, what's that on that one's neck? I want to know what it is on his neck. So
You shoot him and find out. I mean,
shoot him and
It's just curiosity.
find out what it is.
So
It's
S-
a webcam. Oh shit!
So SNS 95, it says, "Hi Jack," and then Jack, can you please make a video on the bird that are near your water points?
But there's a lot of birds near our water points.
Apparently, it's the bird.
Do they want to be dead or alive?
It's capitalized. It's the bird. There's
It's
only
Big
one
Bird.
Yeah,
You
we've got the
obviously
pink-
are meant to know which bird.
Well, we've got pink and grey galahs, which I'm led to believe are worth a lot of money in America.
I've never heard of that word.
Oh, they really?
I understand some
have
of those
heard-
words individually.
I have heard of the.
I
what's it
heard
called?
money and
Magular?
America.
What's it
Yeah.
called? Magular? Say that word
What?
again. Well, you said there's a
Galah.
galar. Okay, I've heard that only
Galah.
because there's a movie called The Dish, which my dad used to watch. It was like, oh, you act like you treat us like a pack of galahs, and
Yeah.
the American character looks at him like, what? And he's like, that's a type of parrot.
Yeah, no, they're not a
Don't
parrot.
let this detract from the fact that in 1966, Al Bundy scored 4 touchdowns.
Okay, I'm moving on. I'm so confused.
We have a classic thing. It's like, oh, you're carrying on like a bunch of flaming galahs. And all they do is fucking squawk.
All right, I have a genuine question, and this comes from the novels that I am a fan of. One of my favorite authors is John Ringo, and one of his favorite one of his series is a zombie series where the main characters are Australian, and so of course some Australian lingo gets thrown in there. So what I want to know is, have you ever been in the dunny with the camels?
No, I've never been on the toilet
Yeah,
having
bathroom,
a fucking camel show up to fuck with my shit.
See,
I've never been out doing a bush poo, laying on my
see,
There's your new side quest right there. He's like, I need to achievement. I need to
Now,
shit
earlier-
and shoot a camel.
Earlier, I told
Sorry.
Mike to go skull, which is to down a beer, apparently a stiffy, which I thought was pretty straightforward, but he didn't quite understand it.
I don't know what skull stiffy means. A little
You
bit
know,
of context. what it
basically
means.
deep throating.
so you thought you knew what it meant. Explains a whole lot.
A little bit of context in the book series. In the dunny means you have been swarmed by zombies and are knifing
shit.
them left and right. Yes, in the shit.
Yeah, no.
I know you were being facetious with me, but
Oh, SNS 95 thinks he's seen that movie. If you have seen The Dish, it's a great little movie.
Yeah, no, it's a good movie.
the
Classic
dish or the book
Australiana.
series I'm reading.
Yeah, I like that movie. Actually, I need to get that movie. I've a long time since I've seen it. Anyway,
Also, how does one, like, if I wanted to? All right, let's take that
There we
back.
go.
If you wanted to, for example, take a very sharp Japanese katana and start lopping off camel heads with it, would the government of Australia take offense?
No.
as long as you counted them.
Yeah, no, as long as it's not deemed to be cruel and unnecessary.
Like, as long as they're clean kills, like,
Clean kills is fine. Doesn't matter.
Mike said to go out there with his little Japanese katana and hit that camel. And the camel's gonna.
However,
Nuts.
Mike, I will have you know that a true katana is illegal in Australia.
That's okay. They're crappy swords anyway.
It's a prohibited
Get you a
weapon.
proper European sword, man.
Yeah.
like a big old broadsword that weighs
Yeah, no,
more
actual
than I
swords
do
are
and will break my
prohibited
back when I.
weapons. Yeah.
You get a good
Jeez.
spy hander, something like that. Something you get some reach because you need to be able to outreach that camel's head. So it
What's
doesn't
the-
swing his neck around. And
What's the definition there, though? Like, there's nothing functionally different between a machete and a katana.
Don't give them fucking ammunition.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Don't use logic. God. That's
What
not
if I-
bad.
yeah, one of our 10 watchers right now is the government
We'll
of
cut
Australia.
that out.
listening.
We'll cut that out of the final one.
King Charles is watching right now.
Hi, Chuck.
Dick.
Well, he might be, on his balloon cushion, like to make sure that his prostate's okay.
Well,
Make
How's
sure
your
you guys
hemorrhoids?
get, check for, prostate cancer. Fuck. Yeah. Like, look after
It's
yourself.
no small thing to joke about, but fuck them.
I was so sad when the British monarchy. did
No,
that.
I still like the thing where Lizzie's just like, no, I've held on to the crown for so long because I got put into the position of the crown, from such a young age. I wanted my children to grow up and, experience life. Then they can take on the responsibility of the crown. King Charles has been in the place for fucking 8 months, and he's got cancer already. So, yeah.
I was so sad when the entire the entire island didn't just devolve into good old fashioned civil war over a succession crisis.
I like how
Really
also
Australia is
disappointed in
so
that.
blamed for everything.
Convince.
All right, what
He's just chugging
Just-
wine out of
he's
his
knocking back his-
fucking bag.
I brought mine
Goon bag.
too.
His goon bag.
I brought
Remember
mine
the
too,
term.
just for solidarity.
Yeah.
Those are no longer spouts; those are teats.
Dude, Vince looks like he just got done. Look at his fucking lips. Vince.
Go ahead, sir.
Cook your
What?
meat first.
No, don't do it, sir.
Am I allowed to say, Vince? You do give me a little bit of like disco gnome vibes.
I
Disco
don't know what that
gnome.
means.
You're 100% allowed to say that, and that's actually
I don't know what that
show-
means.
fair.
I don't know what that means.
All I know is your new nickname for every show from now on is Disco Gnome. I'm putting it
Disco
in
gnome?
right now.
Yep.
Right now.
That's fine.
That's what you. I'm Skyline Shooter. You need to be Disco Gnome.
Gnome.
We got Plow Guy Dave, and apparently we got Sam Alexander. That's.
I mean,
real
ignore
original.
the fact
Way
that
to
I'm
go,
like
Sam.
5 inches taller than Mike, but whatever.
You
That's
don't
not
even know
hard.
how tall I am.
What are you, like 5'8"?
How tall are you?
5'7".
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, I thought so, bitch.
Well, how tall are you in millimeters?
All of
I
them.
don't look. I may enjoy Japanese culture and cars and things, except for
My-
their.
My wife wants to know if we'll celebrate the Queen's birthday in June. No, the Queen is dead.
No,
I
she
don't
died.
celebrate dead people's birthdays.
Hey, did you guys celebrate Thomas Crown's birthday? No, he's dead. Also, who's Thomas
Well, actually,
Crown? Oh,
we
I
have
made that
different
up, motherfucker.
birthdays for the Queen here in Australia.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah, different states had different birthdays, and I'm not sure really why. Was it like Queen Victoria's birthday in one state and Queen Elizabeth in the other? But no, it was just they just
So,
worked out
she-
when to have their
okay.
holidays.
So for reference, my wife
So
works
we-
for a company that has an Australian office, so she's probably talking about it in terms of they take that day off
Probably in Victoria.
versus what we would normally, if we're going to make some kind of joke about the Queen's birthday, we're doing it facetiously. She's just going like, "Oh, you can take the day off."
Actually, the birthday. Yeah.
That's
Trying to
just a
work out if she's got a
pragmatic
day off.
question about when she'll be have the next holiday.
Wait, Dave's got his hand up.
I am 1,879.6 millimeters tall.
You're tall, motherfucker.
He is.
We know this.
Yeah. You got a full
He is
like
tall.
9 centimeters on top of me.
It happens. I mean,
For those of you that don't know the conversions, don't ask me out.
About 180 centimeters or 1800 millimeters is close to 6 foot.
Which is where I'm floating. But anyway,
Whereas I'd like, for me, conversions and everything, farming, easy because we do everything in feet and then convert it back to meters. And so, yes.
Dave, how many millimeters were you again?
Like-
1,870. Hang on.
You're 6'4", aren't you? No, 6'3".
1,879.6.
Yeah.
I'm 6'2".
Okay. Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I heard 2,100. I'm like, wait,
Oh no, I'm not that big.
wait a minute. Dear God,
To fight to the death.
I'm like right at 1,800, a little bit over.
This is a great moment for me to get another drink. Anyone else need another drink?
I already went upstairs and got mine.
Actually, I tell you what, we are 2.5 hours into this. Jack, would you be opposed to coming back for a whole nother episode?
I'm not gonna lie. My computer is having serious issues and it's probably gonna die in the next 3 minutes. So I'm on board with the coming back because this is.
You just
fucking
want to
great.
get to your bedtime, sir. I know you.
Look.
Night, Dave.
If I could prove to
Oh,
you
Mike.
that my battery
Hi,
is
Mike.
running low,
Have you never heard of a charger cord? But okay.
I'm.
It's plugged
Mike,
in.
what
that's the
time is
bad
it in
thing.
Japan?
Yeah, what time is it in Japan, Mike?
It's an hour. It's an hour sooner than it is in Australia.
No, it's the same time as me. It's 2:36 p.m. I'm on Tokyo time, motherfucker.
But the benefit is you just went up in his scorebook because you said you're in Tokyo time. He's like, oh, Tokyo.
That sounds like a quote from The Hangover.
Well, they do call it Tokyo time and not like Sydney time.
Yeah. No, it's not Sydney time because Sydney time's further ahead. So
Yeah.
Tokyo time
More
is
in the
Perth
future.
time.
Tokyo time is best time.
False.
You know. Oh boy.
But
So I
Jag,
reckon,
are you down to come on? I mean, we can definitely schedule later, but I think we have way more to talk about.
Oh
I
yeah.
think there's a lot of shit that we can give each other.
Or
I
just
think
sit
so,
there and
too.
bullshit for hours on end because I'm good
Yeah.
with that. I don't even need a
Oh
topic.
yeah, no, this is fucking great.
Yeah,
No,
that's
this
for the
is-
dynamic. So no, I've had a lot of fun and about 6 beers.
Nice.
Well, if you need to
I'm up
finish
to
the seventh,
9.
we usually hang out a little bit afterwards too. But all right, so we got to do the
Right.
actual thing that we usually forget. The other like couple times we've had guests on. Tell people where to find you in the middle of Australia.
If you can't find me, I'm concerned.
But they will find you and your family, apparently, according to
Yeah.
the YouTube comments.
Yeah, no, according to Sanskrit and Farsi.
Why is it in Farsi? That's suspicious.
No, I support a free Tibet with every purchase of China. If
I have so many questions, but I'm just
I
gonna.
don't know what that means.
I just need more beer.
To be fair, the only reason Dave ever thought about calling it quits at 2.5 hours is for the sake of people actually listening to a podcast episode going, when will this ever end?
It's because Dave and I
I-
haven't entered your plane of existence yet.
I've watched a podcast and I heard someone crack a can just then, so you motherfuckers are in the shit now.
Oh no, this is my go to bed beer.
Yeah, that's his pre-go to bed beer. He's gonna have 2 or 3 more go to bed beers before he goes to bed.
I've listened to a 9.5-hour podcast.
Son of
Oh.
a bitch.
In
I
one
think my
episode,
longest is 5.5.
Yeah, one episode.
I
How do
The
you find
five-
that much content? Is the question.
The
And
five-
this is out.
The 5.5 hour one I listened to one time, they had somebody bring them pizza halfway through because like we were really
Jesus.
hungry. What do? We can call. I don't remember what his name was. We can call, so and so and have him bring us a pizza. Oh, that's a good idea. Do that.
It's gonna take someone 9.5 hours to bring me a pizza.
This
Oh.
is true.
Real quick, Gerardo P in the live chat. He is the guy that helped. That him and we won our truck rodeo competition, and so shout out to Gerardo.
The truck room.
Attaboy.
We'll have to
Hell
save this
yeah.
story for another time.
So the question is, it's in the hands of the audience. Yeah. Do they want us to keep rambling? All 8 viewers.
all 8 viewers.
My end
I don't
says
know.
14.
There you go. Record heights.
Basically,
If,
I mean,
if
if-
you want us
if-
to stop now, tell us. Go for it. You can see the chat. It's down there on one of these
So-
slides.
what you're about to experience is Mike is about to log into about 4 different alternate accounts to go. I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed.
I want to
I'm
drive
just worried
Mike to
about my
psychosis.
computer dying. Like if it just drops out, I'm
I
going.
mean, if you drop out, we'll know what happened to you.
So
Oh,
you're
my
running a
wife-
laptop, Mike?
Your wife's in the chat.
Yeah,
That's
so
rejected.
I run a laptop and I have thrown it on the ground a couple of times, and so the charging cord doesn't work super well. I actually made an appointment with a computer fix-it company tomorrow to get it looked at, but it just decided tonight it was going to get super bad. It decided last night it was going to crash a bunch of times, and I'm like, why now? Why do I need to have all these problems with computers now? But yeah, whatever. First world problems, right?
Well,
Somebody asked
that
about-
actually brings us right down to one of these things in our firearms law over here, where it says remember, it is a privilege to have access to firearms.
Oh, that's
What are your
such
thoughts on that?
horseshit. Horseshit.
Gay.
Is that a government?
Oh,
It's not. It's not a
Yeah.
privilege. It's a.
I got one more. Should we hit the trash can?
I don't think it's.
Missed.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's necessarily a privilege to. I think it's. Fuck. Let me think for a second and actually collect my
So
thoughts so I
you
can be.
you can
coherent.
think while I give this ramble. I do not think that it's a privilege to have access to the tools that I need to do my job.
Nope.
Because if they're going to start playing that game, I'm going to go up to every accountancy firm and just tell them you're not allowed to use Excel, you're not allowed to use MyOb, you're not allowed to use Zero. I'm going to go into the politicians and say you're not allowed to use the media. Like, you know, it's a privilege for you to have the media.
That
And
is
then
a
I'm
very
going to go up to the media and just go, it's a privilege for you to own politicians because the media own the politicians now because it's just a money-making game. They just turn around and just go, we can make money out of this, and we make money from fear, and we're going to create fear by using politicians to create something that is scary.
So that's a very similar argument because we have the Second Amendment, and one of the common arguments made by people who are very anti-gun is that they didn't have these type of guns back when the Second Amendment was written. Well, it's like, well, that's fair. They also didn't have the internet or anything. So by that logic, your First Amendment. Oh, there he goes. Mike,
He's gone.
Your First Amendment rights would be restricted to the technology of the 18th century. So, have fun.
I want to read out a quote to you, which...
Go ahead. All right. So here's how we're going to take this forward, I suppose, which is if anybody needs to go to bed, have at it, because I'm good for a while longer, I suppose.
Yeah, I've got kids, so I gotta go get them.
I can hear a child screaming in the background, but I am ignoring that.
You're like, I don't know if it's mine. It's fine.
But no,
I know it's mine.
Jack, it has been an absolute pleasure, sir. I hope that you want to come back on again. This was a fucking blast. So, keep killing them.
No, I'll definitely be back. We haven't even gone through half of what we were going to talk about.
No, not even.
Which is perfectly cool.
And I even just want to join you guys like weekly to talk shit. It's
but no,
Careful. We'll take you up on that.
you're gonna be in here getting drunk on a Tuesday afternoon if you're not careful.
It'd be a Wednesday afternoon for
anything wrong
him.
with that? Like, it's hump day, man.
Oh yeah, Wednesday, whatever. Hump day.
So
no.
before we go, and if we when we edit this up, when you guys edit this up, this is the end of the episode.
Oh, to be fair, we don't edit anything.
You just bomb it in.
We are
up.
totally unedited in terms of. We'll edit if, like, one time we had somebody write they emailed in a review and I accidentally said their name out loud, the entire name. But that's about it. Other than that, it's like what you see is what you get.
Yep.
All right, so today the challenge of political courage looms larger than ever before. For everyday life is becoming so saturated with the tremendous power of mass communications that any unpopular or unorthodox course arouses a storm of protests, such as John Quincy Adams under attack in 1807, could never have been envisioned. Our political life is becoming so expensive, so mechanized, and so dominated by professional politicians and public relations men that the idealist who dreams of an independent statesmanship is rudely awakened by the necessities of election and accomplishment. And thus, in the days ahead, only the very courageous will be able to take the hard and unpopular decisions necessary for our survival.
Well,
At a guess, when do you think this quote was taken from?
At a guess, I would say probably like 1830.
Dave?
I was gonna guess like 1880.
Can you tell me which nation's history this comes from?
United States of America.
Oh shit! I should be better at this. I'm going to say 1856.
Very specific.
Can I say that you're about 100 years out?
1956.
Yep.
Jesus.
So, Sam, who would have it been saying something as profound as that in 1956?
1956. Kennedy feels like too obvious of an option, but no, not Kennedy. That's before him. So we were looking at either. I'd say Eisenhower.
That
He
would
was a
be my guess.
congressman. He was a congressman before he was president.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it was Kennedy.
Well, there you
Kennedy.
go. The problem is that felt too obvious, and I always
Yeah.
second guess myself. I'm like, oh, that one seems like that should be that one. I'm like, nah, that can't be it.
So, no, it's to me, it's incredible that, like, for 1956, he was turning around and saying that the mass communication and media and this whole political situation was of professionals and, marketing men. And we live in a day now where it's like, well, shit, that's actually what we're dealing with. All these people that have no real world experience, they are just there to make money out of someone else.
Yep.
Which no wonder the CIA killed him.
Hey, now. We don't go in for conspiracy theories around here at all.
It's only conspiracy facts.
Alrighty, fellas. Well,
I thought I'd let you sleep on that one, Dave.
oh shit, yeah. Well, it was good talking to you, sir. I will be talking to you here. Oh, I don't know, here in the next day or two. Just chit chatting.
Yeah.
But
All
we will
right.
catch you guys later.
Bye,
See
Dave.
you, Dave.
See ya.
All right. Well, I think since we've lost 2 cast members, we should probably close this out. And I just want to remind everybody
Hang on, I gotta get the music. All right, now you can go.
to support the sport and take a friend hunting if you can. Get some trauma training, because please don't die in the wilderness by yourself. If you'd enjoyed this podcast, share us with your friends and family. Go subscribe to Jack Out the Back on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at Let's Go Hunt Podcast and Reddit at r/Let's Go Hunt Podcast. Check the show notes for Initiative 91, the ban on cat hunting in Colorado. Thanks for listening to Let's Go Hunt.
And death to camels.
Thank you, guys.
Camels.
And off air. Normally we would go through and pick show titles, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 possibles. So we'll figure that one out later.
Yeah, no, that's a whole handbasket.
Oh,
And I can tell you what, the level of reserved we've been is incredible.